Mine. I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome you. I don't think I'm in a good position to welcome you to Parliament, certainly not. Neither can I welcome you to the chambers, but I am in good position to welcome you to the finals of the 7th National Schools Debate Championship. And what a moment we've been all waiting for. It has taken us a lot of effort to put this together. You have worked very, very hard to make this happen. If you hadn't debated in round one, we wouldn't have the final. So thank you very much and congratulations on making it here. You have made history, you have made a great name, and I know you'll never remain the same. I want us to clap for ourselves thunderously for that achievement. I also want us to give a big round of applause to the two teams that have made it to this year's finals, and that's Mbara High School and Mengo Senior School. My job here is a very simple one. I am going to invite the chief adjudicator, who is going to give us a preamble to the finals, how we got here, the journey we've moved technically, and if the two teams at the finals actually deserve to be there. He'll be telling us that. But also to let you know that immediately after the debate, we shall have another formal session going on. We shall have a few speeches. There won't be many. There will be just about 4 speeches, and they will not last more than 30 minutes. We are expecting the Minister of State for Primary Education to come and officiate over the prize-giving ceremony that will happen after they have announced the results. So for now, from me, may the best team win, and please welcome with me the Chief Adjudicator of the 2016 National Schools Debate Championship, Onyango Nathan.
Thank you very much, Gusta. Good afternoon to you all. First of all, I want to thank all of you who have been participating in this year's National Schools Debate Championship. Please give yourselves a hand clap. For those who have not been with us in earlier SS, it's been a long journey. We started this championship and the theme we were discussing was creating better societies through rehabilitation. And over the last couple of days, we have discussed issues ranging from hard labor in prisons, to the rights of prisoners to vote, to whether there should be preferential treatment for example, special interest prisoners like juveniles, among other things. And the school started out with a 5-round debate where each school was involved. And from those 5 rounds, we were able to pick the top 16. And we went on reducing until today, when we have the final 2, who are Mengo SS and Mbara High School. Please give them a hand clap. I won't detail their journey to get here, but it's been a tough one, and all of us can say they are worthy finalists. And a few minutes ago, we tossed, and the results of the toss put the Mbara High School team in the affirmative and the Mengo SS team in the negative for today's debate. So without further ado, I'm going to announce our motion. But before I do that, I want to ask our timekeeping judge, Hilary, to share with us some timekeeping signals for the purpose of help to the debaters.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nathan. As you know, the very first speakers, that's affirmative 1 and affirmative negative 1, you have 6 minutes, and when you're left with 3 minutes, I'll indicate 3, 2, 1, and when you're done, miss.
Thank you.
So I'm not very sure if you'll be seeing me indicate the 3, 2, and 1 minute. Depends on how you're going to be presenting yourself. But just be rest assured, once you hear the bell, your time is up. Cross-examination is strictly 3 minutes. And after I ring the bell, that means your time is done. May the best team win.
All right. I also want to recognize a Honorable Member of Parliament who is in the House, who is attending today's session, Honorable Michael Tusime from Mbara Municipality. Please let's give him a round of applause. Your guess is as good as mine, which team he's vouching for. But thank you very much, Honorable, for being with us in this session. Also, a quick introduction of the 7 judges of today. You just heard from the timekeeping judge, Hilary. Hillary, you can please wave again. Yes, please give him a hand clap. The other judge next to him is Chimbugwe Muzaffar, who has been Deputy Chief Adjudicator at this tournament. Then Samantha Naluima is judge number 3. Mr. Muhizi Peter. Donald Massa. Also have Geoffrey Mate. And finally, me, Nathan Joseph Onyango, who will be the lead judge and also have been the chief adjudicator for the tournament. All right. Today's motion is this House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. This House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. I invite the first affirmative speaker to start our debate this afternoon.
The fellow farmers, the negators, the panel of judges, I greet you all. This House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. Dear judges, the current Uganda, we as the farmers believe we need joint efforts for the development of Uganda. I will have to explain the keywords in the resolution. Retribution. This means severe punishment for something that's seriously wrong. And then rehabilitation. This means equipping prisoners with skills that will help them have a normal, useful life. I will have to repeat this, a normal, useful life after serving their sentences. And then focus means to give attention, effort to a subject, situation, a person, rather than the other. And then rather than means instead of something or somebody. Today with our farmers, dear judges, come under the Ugandan Parliament headed by Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, and our plan will be implemented through the subordinate body, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, headed by Honorable J.J. Odongo. We believe our plan will be effective since we shall be funded by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Our parameters are Ugandan because we believe it's more better to talk about the issues of our motherland before going out. Dear judges, currently in Uganda, both rehabilitation and retribution are being undertaken, but the latter is being undertaken to a big extent. Uganda has the best rehabilitation services in Africa and ranks fourth globally, but still has a high percentage of reoffending at 32%. We the farmers believe time spent in prisons is itself a punishment, but during this time, we need to give them rehabilitation for effective reformation. What do we mean here by effective reformation? We mean useful citizens. Who are these useful citizens? Citizens that will help in the development of the country, who can contribute, give a hand in the development of the country. In the first place, dear judges, we need to look about the activities that take place in these two programs. Rehabilitation, there is counseling and guidance, there is provision of vocational skills, there is rehabilitative farming, there is formal education, which we believe can create useful citizens. Let's go to retribution. There is hard labor, there is being locked up for long hours, there is community service, which we believe these things really cannot bring about effective development, sustainable development of this country. Dear judges, we have a plan that to take place in 3 years. In the first year, from the status quo, we shall sensitize the public, the prison administration, and the prisoners about the need for prisons to focus on rehabilitation. We're going to do this through using the mass media, holding meetings, seminars, and also talk shows. And then in the second year, we shall teach prisoners, we shall teach prison wardens, prison administrators on how to carry out rehabilitation programs. What is this going to help us have effective rehabilitation? And then in the third year, from the second year, as the parliament, we shall enact a law to take up rehabilitation rather than retribution. And then in the fourth year, we shall implement the law using the subordinate body like the Ministry of Internal Affairs, as we had earlier said. Benefits of our plan. There is useful citizens. Citizens who can contribute in the development of the country. Citizens who can bring about development of themselves and development of the society. How? We talked about programs, activities like rehabilitative farming. Dear judges, currently in Uganda, there are some of these rehabilitation farms. There is Chiburala Farm, there is Dreamy Farm, which actually produce 30% of the food that these prisoners feed on. And then there is another benefit is sustainable peace. We believe rehabilitation takes away the desire of reoffending. How? It gives out activities, acceptable activities that can be carried out in the society. What about retribution? It imparts fear, which we believe as a farmers can fall out after a short time. And so, in the long run, being given these activities to perform in the community, these people won't reoffend. Hence, peace, sustainable peace. Peace we can achieve for a long period of time. And so, unlike retribution, that imparts the fear and falls out after a short time. And then there is productivity. Which productivity? We talked about the farms, producing 30% of the food these prisoners feed on. And so we believe this can bring about productivity in the country. And the same, dear judges, we believe as a farmers, rehabilitation is telling someone that is wrong and showing him the right way to move. And retribution is telling someone that is wrong and not showing him the right way to go. And so we believe as a farmers, dear judges, for effective development in the country, we need joint efforts. Which joint efforts? Which joint efforts? We need useful citizens who can participate to bring about this development. And so we believe you need to show someone the right way to go after telling him that is wrong. Unlike retribution that tells people that they are wrong and don't tell them the right way to go. And dear judges, as we conclude, we the farmers have two questions. The first question is, what do these prisoners go through during rehabilitation, when they're serving their sentences? And the second question is, what do they do and how do they look like? And how would we wish them see? How would we wish to see these prisoners after serving their sentences? We believe, and I believe, all of us would wish to see these prisoners participate in the development of the country, participate in peace-building issues, which we believe can be brought about only by rehabilitation services. With this, I rest my case.
What did you say your house is?
Said the Ugandan parliament.
What is it going to do?
Enact a law.
How long is it going to take for this parliament to enact a law?
This came in the third year of our plan.
Are you trying to say that you're going to use 1 year to enact a law?
Yes, as the parliament, we have all the powers to do that.
The Kavera law was passed as a bill, tabled as a bill in the parliament in 2007, passed as a law in 2014. Has it been implemented?
Pardon?
How sure are you that your law is going to be enacted in 1 year?
We're sure to a big extent because we think,
Do you have examples of laws that have been passed by the parliament in 1 year?
they are there,
Like?
most of these laws.
I mean, is there a law? Under which law in the constitution are you operating?
Pardon?
Under which law are you operating?
I send that to the second speaker.
Is there any law that provides for focusing on rehabilitation rather than retribution?
Yes.
Which law is that?
Pass that to the next speaker.
And then which law are you going to enact in this case?
I pass that to the next speaker.
And then, what is your primary goal of focusing on rehabilitation rather than retribution?
As we said, rehabilitation,
What is your primary goal? Is it to deter crime?
it takes away the desire to reoffend.
Is that deterring crime?
Yes.
Then, what type of rehabilitation are you going to use that is not being used right now?
As we said, both are in place, but retribution is being undertaken to a larger extent. And we believe after putting off this retribution...
Are you aware that the examples you've been giving, you're considering the status quo?
Pardon?
Are you considering the status quo?
Yes.
Then in this case, are you focusing more or you're making use of what we have?
Pardon?
Did you say that we need joint efforts in the development of
Yes,
Uganda?
I did.
And in the last case, what is your time frame?
4 years.
Did you say 3 years?
I said 4 years.
You said 4 years. I rest my case.
The August House, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Resolved. This House believes prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. Ladies and gentlemen, the affirmatives come here and give us the status quo. And in this case, they are basing on the status quo to actually impact the status quo. Let us continue, ladies and gentlemen. They come here with a work case, trying to give us their house as the parliament, well and good. But they are trying to tell us that they're going to amend a law in 1 year. My dear people and friends, the first affirmative has been asked a question: which law in Uganda has ever been passed in 1 year? And he fails to answer the question. Are they sure that they're going to pass the law in 1 year? Secondly, which law are they passing? They fail to tell us this. Which article in the Constitution of Uganda are they using, or are they using to amend the law? They fail to tell us this. Which article are they adding? They fail to tell us this. And in this case, they're trying to provide us a work case. Ladies and gentlemen, in their fallacious status quo, they dare to tell us that in Uganda, the rehabilitation and retribution are there, but the latter, which is retribution, is actually being adopted the more. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may re-echo the Uganda Prison Service Mission, it states very well that indeed their main focus is rehabilitation, and in this case, rehabilitation is being more emphasized. Ladies and gentlemen, their aim is to reduce the rate of recidivism. But yet, with this rehabilitation in their status quo, ladies and gentlemen, the crime rate keeps on increasing. In a question that he was asked if he intends to reduce the crime rate, he says he wants to reduce the crime rate. And in this case, we, as the negatives, are rather saying that indeed, if he wants to reduce the crime rate, he's going to have to take on the deterrence measures as well as rehabilitation. We, as the negatives, do not disagree with the fact that rehabilitation is useful in society. We do not. But we question the honorables of the day who come here to give us a very work case, a case without a house, without an article or a law that is very commendable in this case, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that both of them combined with work if they want to prevent crime. Let me continue, ladies and gentlemen. They continue again that, to tell us that they want to actually have the ends of society gained, and in this case, they are looking into people's feelings. Ladies and gentlemen, we would love to pose them a question in this case. If a person killed another, and in this case, the family of that person who has been killed stays in public, and this person has been sent to court by the courts of law. Ladies and gentlemen, are they telling us that they're going to go ahead and rehabilitate this person alone and don't look into the family? That is a question that is going to also re-echo again. Let me continue. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me again to draw your efforts and your eyes to the fact that these people are telling us they are focusing on rehabilitation more than retribution. But then again, they are not telling us how in particular, because they are telling us what is happening already, or what is already in place, ladies and gentlemen. Again, they tell us their benefits, of which can be actually attained with both ends in this case, of which we can actually be having at the same time rehabilitation and retribution, ladies and gentlemen. We ask them what law, they have no answer, ladies and gentlemen. They are trying to build a wishy star in the sky which cannot actually be attained, ladies and gentlemen. We, as the negatives, rather believe that indeed prisons should have rehabilitation and retribution working together, and at the end of the day we shall not only deter crime, we shall have people actually being reformed in prisons, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are asking them, which people are they rehabilitating, ladies and gentlemen? We do not know whom they are rehabilitating, but again they are coming here to tell us we are rehabilitating and we are rehabilitating, ladies and gentlemen. We need the particulars of their case, and in this case we shall know where they are leading us to, ladies and gentlemen. But as per now, they are leading us to oblivion. We ask them what their primary goal is, and the first affirmative comes here to stammer. We believe and we know that indeed they want to deter crime, but if indeed they want to deter crime, they are trying to encourage crime by building an unstable house using an unstable foundation, and in this case the house will collapse, ladies and gentlemen. We recommend that they would rather build a very stable foundation for a stable house that will last for a longer period of time. We question all these things, and unless the affirmatives come here to prove beyond reasonable doubt that rehabilitation alone being in existence can actually deter crime alone, given the recidivism rate that they are trying to talk about, and yet rehabilitation has already taken root in Uganda, then we do not know where they're leading us to, apart from oblivion, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to continue. Ladies and gentlemen, if they are telling us that indeed they should focus on rehabilitation, ladies, and more than retribution, we are asking them about the fact or the question of focus, ladies and gentlemen. Focus, if they are focusing, how in particular are they going to focus? Because they're actually telling us that they're going to train the prison wardens into how to carry out rehabilitation. Hasn't this already been taking place in our prisons, ladies and gentlemen? The Uganda Prison Service is already having a mission to carry out rehabilitation. But at the same time, who are they to do away with retribution? Are they doing away with retribution, which is awarded by the courts of law in the question here? And at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, if they are trying to tell us that rehabilitation is what they are going for, we need a very specific way for this to happen, and they are telling us people that they're going to amend a law in 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, how many years? My third speaker comes to tell you here that the Kavera law that was tabled in 2007 and was actually passed in 2014, that means it took 7 years for this law to be passed, and these irrational affirmatives come here to tell us that they're going to take 1 year. And if they're going to take 1 year, in which month are we right now? December. I do not know when they are going to start, ladies and gentlemen. They did not clarify. If they are starting this year, then they should tell us again the facts where they are basing, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me end by saying, ladies and gentlemen, that if the affirmatives come here, because I believe that both sides have the same aim, and that is to keep peace in society. We as the negatives have no problem with rehabilitation, but we prefer, ladies and gentlemen, that indeed both retribution and rehabilitation should take root and course in Uganda. I will end by saying that we shall not believe in their fallacy of telling us that retribution is hard labor, because, ladies and gentlemen, Article 25 of the Constitution of Uganda tells us that there is no such thing as hard labor. We need for them to prove beyond reasonable doubt that hard labor is actually something that is in the Constitution of Uganda, and it has been used by the courts of law, because apparently the Constitution of Uganda goes against these things, because forced labor in this case in itself is not there. And if they're saying the Constitution of Uganda permits hard labor, then we do not understand them. Allow me to rest my case. Thank you.
1 minute press time. 1 minute press time. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning to you.
So, Honorable, is rehabilitation being done more than retribution in Uganda?
Rehabilitation is emphasized by the Uganda
No.
Prison
Is
Service.
retribution being done more than rehabilitation? Which one is done at a higher rate?
Both are being done in Uganda.
At an equal rate. Thank you, Honorable. So, Honorable, do you talk
Not
about...
at an equal rate.
Talk-
One is being emphasized,
Which one is it?
and that is rehabilitation by the
Thank you
Uganda
very
Prison
much.
Service.
Thank you very much, Honorable. So, Honorable, did you say that there are laws that take very long to be implemented?
That is a fact.
Yes, so give us like 5 only.
I've already given you the Kavera law, and
Another
if you
one?
are aware that you have the burden of
Another
proof
one?
in this case you're giving to me,
Another
I am
law?
referring you to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Check there.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Did you say hard labor is not allowed in our country?
I beg your pardon?
Did you say hard labor is not allowed in our country?
No, I said that like you said that in the constitution it is provided for, it is not because
Honorable,
it's only
is hard labor
forced
legal-
labor.
Is hard labor legally sanctioned or not?
I beg your pardon?
Is hard labor legally sanctioned or not?
In Uganda, hard labor is something that is not
Fine,
mentioned
fine.
of in the constitution of Uganda.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable, if I may ask, are you trying to tell us you shall have both retribution and rehabilitation today?
I am not trying to tell you, I am telling you.
That's what we need.
Yes.
So, what's your role as a negator then in this case?
In this case, I'm trying to show you that the word focus in this
So,
case is something that is
Honorable-
trying to be irrelevant
So,
on your
Honorable,
part.
if I may ask, did you question our motive of educating prison warders?
Educating prison warders.
Yes, about rehabilitation programs.
I did not question it, but I brought it to your eye that it has already taken place, and in
So,
this case, the
Honorable,
prison
if I
warders
may
are carrying
ask-
out the rehabilitation.
Is rehabilitation done in all prisons in Uganda?
Rehabilitation has been taken on by the Uganda Prison Service.
In all prisons of Uganda?
If the Uganda Prison Service takes it on and is heading all the prisons,
So,
then what's the
Honorable,
answer to that?
If you don't believe in rehabilitation, what is your plan to bring retribution?
I beg your pardon?
If you don't believe in rehabilitation, what is your
If you
plan?
look at me, do I look like the courts of law? The courts of law actually award retribution, and in this case, I'm not the courts of law. It's already in existence.
So, Honorable, do you believe
I'm not here to believe. I'm not a philosopher. Ask me for
Honorable,
facts.
do you believe fire cannot be quenched by fire?
Irrelevant and out of context. But again,
Do you believe fire cannot be quenched by fire?
fire is not quenched. In this case, I think you're using personalization, which is out of context.
So, Honorable, if I may ask again, what is rehabilitation to you?
Rehabilitation is the process of preparing the inmates for future reintegration into society.
And what is retribution?
Retribution is a just way of proportionately awarding a criminal something or a punishment that was actually equal to what he carried out, or the crime that he actually enacted on somebody.
Honorable, what do you stand for?
Excuse me?
What do you stand for?
Actually, I stand for so many things, but the biggest thing I stand for is peace and justice.
Thank you very much. I rest my case. 2 minutes prep time.
Just a minute. I want also to recognize the presence of Honorable Isaac Mulindwa Sozi, the Member of Parliament for Lugazi Municipality, Bwikwe District. Thank you very much, Honorable, for joining us. Let's continue.
Honorable judges, before I begin my submission, one cannot quench fire by fire. The negative team is supporting retribution. Yes, we agree it's there in our prisons. Retribution for people who have committed crimes like murder, like assault, like rape, like defilement. What are they looking at? In the first place, the affirmative team doesn't believe that the negative has actually understood our resolution. They are questioning us about rather than unfocus. In any case, let me explain. Now, resolution states that this House believes that prisons should focus, I quote, focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution, which means you're living for one thing and going for the other. Now, in this case, if you're living retribution and going for the other thing, they actually agree that, yes, we agree they are both being taken in the country at the same time, yes. But we still reset the fact that they are both at the same, both being taken in the country, but one is actually at a larger extent than the other. Now, formative team come and ask us about changing individuals. Well, rehabilitation, what is it? This is the equipping of prisoners with skills that help them tie into better and resources to the country. What are we trying to imply? If I go to prison for probably killing a person, that's a crime, I accept. I come out after changing person through the programs they're going to provide for me. What are these programs? Vocational skills, literacy, and these are things that are actually going to help me reset my program and tie into better to society. They come and ask us that we're doing rehabilitation. For whom are we doing it? Honestly, our negatives. Rehabilitation. The resolution says this House believes that prisons, which means our issue now is in prisons. We are doing it for the prisoners, not for any other person. In any case, we should start to believe in one thing. Yes, we agree. They are both taken in the country, but what is more than the other? Retribution. We believe in one thing. Rehabilitation should actually be going on further than retribution because it's actually going to bring us a better way of changing our sins into better and useful people for society. Now, as the affirmative team, we believe in one thing. Our plan, as we gave it to them, has benefits. The first benefit, sustainable peace. Sustainable, please allow me to quote this. Sustainable peace. Peace is actually going to stay for a long time. What are we trying to imply by this? If I go to prison for a crime committed, yes, I accept I committed the crime. I come back a changed person. What am I trying to hit at? If I come a changed person, I'll be able to benefit both the person, both the offender and the offended. Because yes, they give us an example of supposing a person killed another person, he's taken into prison, arrested and tried and guilty of and other stuff. Wondering about one thing, if he comes back to society, what is he actually going to do for the society? That is why you ask yourselves two questions. The first question, what do these prisoners go through in their sins in the prisons? Another question, what do we expect to see them come out through as they're coming from their prisons? Another point of ours, rehabilitation actually calls for human rights, because we believe it's actually a better and generally justifying aim for the incrimination of criminals. Why is this so? Because if I'm taken into custody for committing a crime and later rehabilitated, I'm giving myself a chance to turn into a better person, which means I'll actually not commit again the crime, which means actually having more peace and in any case human rights are being promoted. Now another thing, rehabilitation doesn't stop at punishing offenders, but it actually saves them. Because if I committed a crime for something that I did, well, I accept I did the crime. But when I come back a changed person, I won't do it again, meaning we're having low crime rates in our country and therefore development. Again, rehabilitation actually has a higher regard for community. For example, we have 21 prison farms in Uganda. And as for information states that 30% of the food that prisoners feed on in the prisons is produced by themselves. What they're trying to imply. If they're able to do something for their own self and actually for the society they live in, they're actually benefiting the whole of Uganda. And that's its development. Now, rehabilitation, as the first speaker said, is actually like, retribution is actually showing someone that he's wrong, but not showing him the right way. What are we giving ourselves? Options. Yes. Show me that I'm wrong, at the same time show me the right things I'm actually supposed to do. Now, this is actually going to give us a chance to believe in two things: retribution, rehabilitation. We're not trying to dig away the fact of retribution. We are not. We believe in it. Yes, we accept it's there. But one of them should actually be done at a larger for the benefits that are actually trying to give them. Now, retribution actually gets us very many things, which implicates fear, violence, and revenge. What does rehabilitation do? It takes away the desire to reoffend. What are you going for? Telling someone that he's wrong by taking away his desire to reoffend, and telling that he's wrong by leaving him to do what he's supposed to do, which one goes better? We believe as the affirmative team, we should actually believe for one thing. Show me that I'm wrong, but then actually show me what right I'm supposed to do, which I have to get for as the affirmative side. As I conclude, dear judges, we still stand for one thing. You do not quench fire by fire. These are prisoners who are in prison for crimes committed. You don't retribute them. You actually rehabilitate them to make them into better persons. I rest my case.
Yeah, please return. Do you agree with your first speaker when he says that we need joint efforts for the development of Uganda?
I do believe in that.
Very good. And in this case, would you like joint efforts from both rehabilitation and retribution in as regard to your first speaker?
Sorry?
Do you agree, indeed, that we need joint efforts from both rehabilitation and retribution in this context to lead to the development of our country? Yes or no?
I do believe in that.
Wow. So you do believe with us. Okay. So has rehabilitation been taken on in our country?
Yes, it has.
Is there recidivism in our country?
Sorry?
Is there recidivism in our country? Yes or no?
Yes, there is.
Very good. And in this case, you want to focus on rehabilitation, and yet in its midst, there is recidivism. Yes
Honorable.
or no? Yes or no?
Please allow me to answer
Yes
your
or
question.
no?
Let me answer your question, Honorable. For the case of rehabilitation, okay, that's for two things that's like we told you.
I
For
need
violence and for fear. Please let me explain.
Okay.
Now-
I've got my answer. Relax. I've got my answer.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Did you say that you're catering for prisoners?
Yes, we are.
What type of prisoners are in prisons?
Prisoners who are in prison.
How many types of prisoners do we have in prisons? Are they committing similar cases?
Do we have types of prisoners?
Oh, Jesus. You don't know about types of prisoners? Okay. Do you know about people who commit trivial crimes, the capital offenders and the like?
Please inform me.
Okay, you will be informed since I'm an affirmative. Okay. Would you have a terrorist retributed?
Sorry?
Would you have a terrorist retributed?
No.
You would not have him retributed.
Rehabilitated.
You have him rehabilitated?
Yes.
You're standing firm with that?
Yes.
Okay. So are you taking on education in your action plan?
Sorry?
Are you taking on education in your action plan?
At some extent.
Yes, at some extent. What type of education? Which schools? What programs?
When we say rehabilitation, that's for very many things.
Education, not rehabilitation. Relax.
Can I please explain that? Your answer, please?
Yes.
When you say rehabilitation, you get that for two things.
Education is what I'm
Yes,
asking about.
I'm answering your question, please.
Okay.
Rehabilitation gets us for very many things, of which there is formal education, and informal education, and guidance and counseling. As a matter of fact, there is
Okay, I've got my
education
answer.
now.
Would you take on UPE and USE?
Sorry?
Would you take on UPE and USE?
It is already,
Would you take on vocational
it
education?
is already inexistent.
Would you take on or focus more on vocational education?
Not focus more, like you say.
Then vocational education is not rehabilitation in this context. Okay. 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 Are you aware that prisoners in Uganda prisons share a combined meal
Sorry?
per day? Okay, let me try and make it easy for you. Did you say in your statistics that the rehabilitation is contributing more than 30% of the food in prisons?
Just a brief announcement. I want to recognize Mr. Kaima Daniel, the head teacher of Kira College Butiki. Please, wherever you are. Yes. And also on that note, if there is a head teacher or an invited guest around, when the debate ends, you'll come and occupy the seats that are facing the speaker's seat, which is the one I am sitting in. Yes, so after the debate, please occupy the seats that are facing my seat currently. Thank you.
Resolved. This House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. Ladies and gentlemen, the second affirmative comes here and says clearly that for them, they are leaving one thing for another. In this case, the affirmatives are saying they are leaving retribution and going with rehabilitation. So they are saying in case they find a terrorist, they will not rehabilitate him. And I will explain the definition of retribution. They'll not retribute, but then they will rehabilitate. Now, what is retribution? Retribution, it involves, this is a theory of justice that considers proportional punishment an acceptable response to crime. So in case you kill someone, the judge will analyze the case and give you a punishment that is equal to what you have done. Now they're saying that they will leave this. Ladies and gentlemen, they come here and say that rehabilitation emphasizes human rights. One question I'd like to ask is, human rights for who? That their rehabilitation emphasizes human rights. Now these human rights are for who? The perpetrators of the crime or the victims of the crime? Ladies and gentlemen, don't we all agree that both parties deserve their human rights to be defended? Ladies and gentlemen, and that is why we are saying that rehabilitation has to go hand in hand with retribution. Ladies and gentlemen, they come here and then are contradicting themselves and say they believe in retribution, that they believe in joint efforts, that they believe rehabilitation should be done in conjunction with retribution. Now, again, the second affirmative comes here and during cross-examination and says that he believes their team, because he represents the team, that a terrorist should be rehabilitated and not retributed. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we showing to the society? That it is okay for me to go and kill people, that it is okay for me to go and commit aggravated robbery, and at the end of the day, what the court will award me is rehabilitating me, which is teaching me how to reintegrate into society. Ladies and gentlemen, the first affirmative comes here and says that retribution is severe punishment. Retribution is not severe punishment, but it is offering a proportional punishment to what you have already done. Then they come here and say that retribution in Uganda consists of hard labor, community service. Now we totally disagree with this. Retribution is not comprised of hard labor. Hard labor is illegal. It is only the prisons that carry it out without the knowledge of the judicial sector. Community service is something that the court awards to someone because they believe they have committed a crime, and they believe the community service is punishment equal to the crime committed. Ladies and gentlemen, they come here and say that their benefits are going to be production of food. Ladies and gentlemen, we already know that production of food is already taking place. Why? Because rehabilitation is taking place. Now, important to note is that food supply to prisoners was inadequate. 50% of prisoners serve one combined meal in the prisons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, production of food, we already know that rehabilitation is taking place, but still there is a low production of food in these prisons. They come here and say that productivity in farms. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainable peace. How are we going to maintain peace when the victims of the crimes committed are not being defended? People are being shown a different picture. Then, ladies and gentlemen, they come here and make a claim that retribution imparts fear. Dear judges, retribution imparts fear. That is what they say. Now, ladies and gentlemen, isn't this good? If people fear to commit crimes because they have heard that someone has been sentenced to death for committing terrorism, this is actually good, because I will fear to lose my life because I know the death sentence has been passed on to someone because they committed a crime. Ladies and gentlemen, during the cross-examination of the first affirmative, he admits that there is a law focusing on rehabilitation. So if there is a law, what law are they enacting? What are the contents of the law, ladies and gentlemen? What are they adding into the Constitution of Uganda? Then, ladies and gentlemen, what we are trying to say is that rehabilitation should go hand in hand with retribution. Why? It ensures that both parties benefit, the victims and the perpetrators of the crime. The perpetrators of the crime are given opportunity to reform, are given the opportunity. So it's given to them that they can reform, while the victims, through retribution, are given justice. So in case someone are given justice for the crimes that have been committed against them, then, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to conclude by saying, what is their primary goal? Yes, we know the benefits. They want production of food, sustainable peace, but aren't they actually putting all this in jeopardy? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end by saying that this House should focus on both rehabilitation and retribution. Thank you very much.
Nice speech, Honorable Speaker. Do you believe rehabilitation caters for the society and the offender?
Rehabilitation does not cater for the society, but it caters more for the offender of the
Do you
crime.
believe rehabilitation is effective?
Rehabilitation is currently, with the evidence given, not effective.
Do you believe rehabilitation caters for human rights?
Pardon?
Do you believe rehabilitation caters for human rights?
Rehabilitation caters for human rights.
What do you think is the right treatment for terrorists in retribution?
Terrorists deserve to be given proportional punishment for their crime, but then they also deserve a chance to be offered rehabilitation in the prisons.
You talked about combined meals in the prisons. May you provide proof?
You can go to the Uganda Prison Service website.
So failing to offend and taking away the desire, which one do you think is stronger?
Strong in what sense? For fearing to offend by the people, I believe that will create sustainable peace, which you want to achieve at the end.
Is hard labor legal or not?
Hard labor is illegal, but you said it's a composition of retribution that the court awards, because retribution is awarded by the courts of law, and you say that it is a composition of retribution. So now please give us evidence of which court that has sentenced someone to hard labor in Uganda.
How many minutes for the question? How many? All of them. Resolved. This House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. From the beginning, dear judges, the negator side have failed to understand the two keywords inside here. That is focus. Focus means to give attention or effort to one particular subject, situation, or person rather than another. And rather than means that instead of something or somebody. But what do they choose to opt for? Both retribution and rehabilitation. They don't know where they are falling, dear judges. They come and tell us, dear judges, that we are here amending a law, that laws. They gave us an example of the Kavera law that took 7 years. We asked them for another law, they couldn't tell us. Dear judges, is that something we can base ourselves on? We know the Ugandan government has all the capacity, or even our parliament, as we have mentioned, to enact a law that helps us. So you can't base your thing on one law, like the Kavera law. At least they should be able to tell us like 5 or more. They are being irrelevant, dear judges. They come and said that hard labor is illegal. We all know that hard labor, dear judges, is legally sanctioned. So they are trying to tell us that the government is actually criminal. The government is criminalizing these people because they are bringing in hard labor. Yet we know hard labor is legal in this country. They haven't made enough research, dear judges. They come and tell us that prison wardens, they questioned our element of training prison wardens. Dear judges, you all know these prison wardens are trained more military-like. They come in to protect the people and maintain order. But we are very sure most of these people don't know anything about these rehabilitation programs that we had mentioned, like vocational studies, like the formal education. This is what we are going to do, dear judges. Development has no limit, but they have failed to understand it. They have negated aside, are finding no flow with our plan. They choose to go instead and attack irrelevant things, enactment of laws, dear judges. And they seem not to understand that right now, as we had said, that there will be productivity in these prisons. They fail to understand that. They say that that currently in prisons, 50% serves one combined meal. So we asked ourselves, where do they get those statistics from? We told them the real use of this rehabilitation, 30% of the food consumed in prisons comes from those rehabilitation programs. But they still don't understand that by removing this, it's going to cause shortage of food in these prisons. Dear judges, from the beginning we have emphasized that rehabilitation. We have compared the two things, rehabilitation and retribution. We tell them that in rehabilitation, the person will remove the desire to offend from the prisoners. What happens in retribution? You instead instill fear to offend, something they really believe. And they tell us that fear to offend is something we need to instill right now. Dear judges, something you don't believe in. Because fear is something that may be lost in the long run. But what happens with rehabilitation? You remove that desire to offend. The negator said, come here and don't actually even tell us the benefits of having both of these two things. They still tell us that rehabilitation doesn't cater for human rights. Rehabilitation in first place, as we have talked about, there is this guidance and counseling. Our first speaker mentioned it. He talked about the formal education. What does retribution stand for? Retribution, as we have said, we still emphasize it. There is hard labor. There is community service. Dear judges, which one of these two advocates for human rights? Of course, it is rehabilitation. Dear judges, as we had mentioned to reaffirm our stand, we have said that in retribution, there is more of revenge, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. And we asked them one thing they couldn't understand, that can you quench fire by fire? No. When fire is burning, you don't add more fire to quench it. In the same way, if I commit a crime, you don't come and start, severely punishing me so that I leave that habit. Actually, what does rehabilitation stand for? Effective reformation. I will affirm what you have said from the beginning, that the negators have failed to understand. We have said that rehabilitation doesn't stop at punishing offenders, but actually saves them. Why? We give them skills that help them when they get outside these prisons. These skills are the ones that are going to help them flourish. I'll come back to the main clash point of this debate, questioning the effectiveness of rehabilitation. And again, them bringing rehabilitation and retribution. Dear judges, let me compare this again. Rehabilitation helps you after you're done with serving your sentences by putting those skills to use. What does retribution do? After punishing you, you just get out of prisons and there is nothing more to start on. You can't start a new life. So dear judges, with this, we realize that rehabilitation is actually putting us in a better place. We said from the beginning we still have a high rate of reoffense, 32%, with retribution being done at a higher rate. And we believe if rehabilitation is brought in more, we shall reduce this reoffense rate. Dear judges, as I wind up, from the beginning as they are farmers, we have asked one question, two questions actually, that what do you want to see these prisoners go through when they go in prisons? And the second question is how or what do you want to see them do after they are from these prisons? And we believe rehabilitation caters for the most important question, which is the second one. With this, we believe as they are farmers who have won this case and will gladly rest our case.
Resolved, this House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation rather than retribution. Dear ladies and gentlemen, according to the second affirmative, he redefined the motion as believing for one thing. The whole debate has been zeroed down to 3 questions. First, whether the affirmatives can make the House believe that prisons should believe for one thing. Second, whether they have a viable plan. And third, whether it is this plan that leads to the benefits they are giving. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the first question we posed to them, who are they rehabilitating, or who are these people they are focusing on to rehabilitate more? They answer generously, prisoners. These prisoners, dear ladies and gentlemen, these are the same people considering justice for prisoners. And dear ladies and gentlemen, they are only catering for the perpetrators and leaving out the justice for the victims. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we still stay with this question of which prisoners. They're leaving us with the context of all prisoners, terrorists, murderers. Imagine a case, affirmative comes here and assures us that they're going to rehabilitate a terrorist. Dear ladies and gentlemen, a Ugandan, a patriot, and you come up and you say you're going to rehabilitate a terrorist. In this case, dear ladies and gentlemen, they ask the affirmatives whether we need joint efforts for development of the society. They say yes. And in this case, we ask them, do we need rehabilitation and retribution? They say yes. In this case, are they believing for one thing, or they're believing for 2 things which you are trying to bring on board? Dear ladies and gentlemen, in this case, they failed to prove to the House that indeed there is, that we have failed to believe that there is need for prisons to believe for one thing, that is rehabilitation. Second of all, we are questioning their work plan. They're using the parliament. They're making use of 4 years. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we ask them, are you going to use 1 year for enacting a law? They say yes. We ask the first affirmative during cross-examination, is the law already in existence? He says yes. The question is, then if the law is in existence, which law are they enacting? And in this case, if they are trying to presume, which law are they enacting in this case? Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are asking ourselves, in 1 year, we have given them a case study of the Kavera law. It took 7 years to be passed by the parliament, and they're asking us for 4 more examples. Yet the affirmatives, who have the burden of proof, have failed to give us 1 example of a law that has been passed within less than a year. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we go ahead and ask ourselves, they admit the fact that during the status quo we're having rehabilitation, and the same people who are believing that there is recidivism. So in this case, why should we go for something that there is recidivism? And in this case, dear ladies and gentlemen, we also clashed on a point of the definition of retribution. We as the affirmatives are defining retribution as justice that considers proportional punishment equivalent to the crime that has been committed. In this case, they define retribution as severe punishment. We bring in, that is where the issue of hard labor comes in, and we are asking ourselves, we as the negatives, has the court ever awarded a punishment for hard labor? That is a question that affirmatives have failed to understand. Dear ladies and gentlemen, that is why we ask ourselves, their plan has failed to, because they are giving us time period which they cannot make effective of. And does this plan lead to the benefits they are giving us? They're emphasizing human rights. We are asking ourselves, they are providing rehabilitation for our prisoners, a terrorist, rehabilitating a terrorist who has killed multitudes of people. The question is, are you emphasizing rights of a perpetrator, or they are only in actual sense considering the perpetrators and forgetting about the victims in society? These people who have been damaged, in actual sense, are you considering human rights? Which human right in this case are you emphasizing? They go ahead and bring in the issue of sustainable peace. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we keep on asking ourselves, how does this plan of theirs bring about sustainable peace? We have shown them that if we go for both retribution and rehabilitation, we are going to achieve the sustainable peace they're trying to bring on board. Imagine a case of rehabilitating a terrorist, giving this person skills. Dear ladies and gentlemen, what are you trying to do? In this case, that is how they bring in and they tell us they're deterring crime. The question is to the House, which kind of crime are they deterring by rehabilitating these terrorists? Which image are they giving to the society? Are they deterring crime? They bring about production of food and so on. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you cannot tell me you're emphasizing a human right of a person, yet you are rehabilitating this perpetrator. You are considering the rights of a perpetrator at an expense of the victim. And in actual sense, you're deterring crime, yet you are giving these people more of what they have. They are admitting to the fact that we already have rehabilitation in place. Dear ladies and gentlemen, if we can make use of rehabilitation and retribution, the mere fact that retribution is passed by it is in the form of a sentence that is passed by the courts of the law, we believe that if a person commits a crime, there is need for justice. That is why we as affirmatives, the negatives, believe that this House believes that prisons should focus on rehabilitation and retribution for the case of peace and justice, and emphasizing all that you're trying to bring. We rest our case.
Thank you very much. Our debaters for today, we request you the debaters to cross the floor and shake hands. And the audience, you can applaud them. You will agree with me that it has been a very hot debate, so I request that you will excuse us, the judges, to move to the next room and deliberate, and we shall hand over the program to the person in charge. Thank you very much for being a good audience.
Thank you very much, judges. Can I invite Onesimus to come down and take us through the rest of the program? Onesimus? Judge Onesimus, for that matter. And I would also like to invite our head teachers who are here and any invited guests to come and take up the seats facing the speaker's chair. Thank you for being a good audience. I hope you enjoyed the debate. The session we are getting into is a very formal one. We should be expecting very important people walking in. We are waiting to get communication from the people that coordinate the visitors here to tell us how the chief guest is walking in and exactly what time. But like I told you, we shall have about 4 speeches, very short speeches, before the chief guest speaks and makes the awards. We are also going to award, and I think since we still have a bit of time, we are going to receive all awards here, and all the awards are ready. We have some accompanying gifts from Parliament. You have already received notebooks and pens, is it? Okay, the pens are coming, so you're expected to receive. I've been informed that each of us will receive a notebook and a pen and a calendar of Parliament. I'm also informed that the top 10 speakers will each receive a parliamentary branded cup as in Echikopo. But before that, each of us, we have certificates, beautiful framed certificates for each school. Somebody might want to bring me one here. So each school is going to receive a certificate now. The certificates have already been signed by the Speaker of Parliament. So each school receives a certificate of merit. Each of us is going to receive a certificate, another certificate, each debater, for whatever stage you reached. We also have special certificates. This is how the school certificates look like. And we have other smaller certificates for the best, the top 10 speakers. The best speaker, as always, receives a glass plaque, and the 9 other speakers receive a certificate, but this time the certificate is special. And this is how it looks. So this is for the top 9 speakers. We also have an award for the personality the person with the best personality in the tournament. You're going to be voting for that person tonight during the dinner. That person is going to be voted by you, the debaters. You're going to have to write a name of that person you think had the best personality in the tournament and put it in a box. And the person whose name appears most will take a special award as the best personality award. Isn't that nice? I am still waiting for Onesimus. Oh, he's here. Come. Come.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I want to congratulate the two teams upon arriving on the finals. And as we await the judgment, of course, and as we also await for our chief guest, and we shall be announcing to you who our chief guest is going to be, we are going to have a session of speeches, okay? And it's very important for us to know that in our midst, we have very supportive people. We have the HM of Boutique College, I've been told. Please, wherever you are, please stand up and welcome you. Okay, we have the headmaster of Naria SS, Namugongo, around. Okay, thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you so much for hosting us. We have the HM of Bonjara SS. Yes, thank you so much for being with us. And we also have someone representing the director, Naria SS. Am I correct? Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to invite over the HM of Boutique to come and say hello to the students. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. Then from there, we shall be having the HM of Bonjera to also say something briefly. Then between the HM of we shall have a speech from the administration of Naria. Let me not dictate who will represent on this part. They have been an amazing host. Let's give a round of applause to Naria SS. And I'm sure all of us have enjoyed our stay, haven't we? It has been an amazing experience. So yeah, after the speech from the head teacher of Bonja, we shall have a speech from the administration of Naria SS. Then from there we shall be told what will proceed next. Is that okay? Please let us put our hands together for the head teacher of Butiki.
Thank you very much. The honorable members of Parliament present, the honorable judges, executives from the National Debate Council, the civil society representatives, fellow head teachers, patrons, the student debaters, ladies and gentlemen. I'm profoundly honored and greatly humbled for the great privilege availed to me to address you this afternoon. It is not on many occasions that you get to meet very many brilliant minds, young and old alike, assembled for such a great cause, and that is debate. I'm glad to see you, many familiar faces, people who strongly believe in the debate cause. Welcome to this general cause. Ladies and gentlemen, life has accorded me the privilege of heading an institution that has debate deeply rooted in its philosophy, and as such, I too will greatly endeavor to promote it. As the winners of last year's National Debate Championship, we are greatly indebted to the National Debate Council for organizing these annual debates that have been running for the last 6 years. I congratulate the new champions to be named upon their accomplishment. And I want to assure them of our support to ensure that we are able to carry on this cause of debate in the secondary schools. At this juncture, allow me to pay tribute to the younger men that represented not only Chira College Butichi, but Uganda and Africa as a whole at the previous AGO debate in Romania in September this year. Ladies and gentlemen, their performance was incredible, and as such, our international debate rating as Africa has been raised from the 12th to the 6th position. That, I believe, is a great milestone. Great thanks go to the National Debate Council for planning this trip, the Minister of Education and Sports who fully supported this cause, and the Office of the President who facilitated us with shillings 25 million for this trip. To all heads of school present, I cannot overemphasize the need to prepare our students to be useful members of their communities by offering them a holistic education. It is unfortunate that the spirit of unhealthy competition thriving amongst our schools tends to promote academic excellence at the cost of co-curricular activities. Honestly, we have now taken to train academic robots rather than children ready to face a really dynamic modern world. But by doing this, we are only sacrificing the future of these children. And if we place personal ambition over and above the future of these youngsters, then the blast of their future in life is on us. As a teacher and a leader too, I'm dedicated to the excellency of young people and helping them to be the best they can be. And in my long experience of mentoring young minds, I have long discovered that there is no better way to prepare our children for the future, especially this modern world is many challenges that provide them with an education that best fits the times and allows them to easily adapt in any environment. And by this, I don't mean leaving school with a piece of paper filled with A's as I mean giving them a solid education with emphasis on co-culture activities and helping them exploit their unique abilities. Many times we spend all our life getting an education so we can get a job. But then we always forget to develop our great assets, our talents, the things that make us unique. Most people think that once you have a qualification, that is it. It is any wonder that many of our children end up on the streets, searching for the very jobs we thought would be obvious once they have a qualification. What we haven't realized is that there is a missing link, a link that should connect our children and their education to this real world. Qualifications aside, there is always that one thing that will put a child above the rest, that one thing that makes him unique, his or her talent. And we are happy and glad that we are here to witness this struggle of the brain. Pertaining the debate, you will agree with me that there is no better avenue to polish up on one's leadership and public speaking skills than debate. Debate has the ability to challenge and make you think. Debate offers us a chance to be bold. And what does being bold mean? It means not being afraid to challenge the norm and learning to ask why. There have been many questions here. People have been asked why, and we are happy and glad that we have witnessed that people have been able to give relevant answers. When I look at their body language, voice control, eye contact, grammar, and a host of other things, I see in them the kind of leaders that this nation needs. I see the parliamentarians of tomorrow. I see the Kadagas, I see the Olanyas of tomorrow. Congratulations. I appreciate the government for their role in supporting debate and other co-curricular activities. However, I also believe that more can be done towards this end. Schools, I believe, have tried their best to organize and facilitate their students in different competitions at local level. However, if we are to benefit meaningfully out of these competitions, we need representation on the international stage. Unfortunately, not many schools can afford such avenues, such ventures. That's why I urge the government to fully sponsor schools and students that have qualified to represent the country in the different activities internationally. The glory of such achievements does not go to individual schools, but to the nation as a whole. By doing this, I believe we are only promoting our brand as a country. What if we can look at a situation that the National Debate Council is given the mandate that as we go through the process of debate, right away from the many days you have been around, that they take the initiative to look at us, to study you, and out of this, is it viable that we are able to get a team getting the best debaters across all the 38 schools that have been at this debate to represent Uganda, to represent Africa for that matter. I believe that the Parliament of Uganda, as the policy-making organ of the government, has a major role to play in this. You have the mandate to make such policies and see them effected. Let us help our children to get a meaningful education. I urge us to look at these children as the apparent heirs of this nation. And at the time of our death, we shall be asked, what have we left behind for them to inherit? To all of you, younger debaters today, I hope you understand that life is the most difficult exam. Many of us failed because we want to copy from others. But each of us has a unique question paper, and I don't expect us to copy from each other or one another. Let us build on these things that make us unique, that make us special, that will secure us a future in the diverse, changing world. I will leave you these inspirational words from Dr. Moses Sumuyemba. Every day in your life is an exam. Every day you either pass or fail the test of life. Every day is an opportunity to grow beyond your present barriers and circumstances. I thank you for your kind attention. for God and my country. I remain Daniel Douglas Kaima, head teacher, Chira College Buteche. Thank you.
Yes, please. Another round of applause, please. In his submission, when he mentioned that he's seeing the Orara, not the Orara Utunus, okay, maybe yes, but the Jacob Oranyas of the future, the Rebecca Kadagas of the future, I recall the first theme of debate in 2009. Actually, the first NSDC was today's debaters, tomorrow's leaders. So it is possible for us, a few years from now, some of us or some of you, the debaters, are already eligible to contest. I'm told that we have some who have the minimum qualifications for standing as an MP, even especially from the young cadres, the judges, the young judges around. So it is possible. It is very possible. Keep the spirit, and the future is going to be very, very bright. In our midst, ladies and gentlemen, we are also in the company of the head teacher of St. Paul's High School, Rushoka, Ntungamo District. Please stand up for recognition. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being with us. All right. Next, we are going to have a few remarks from the head teacher of Bonjera SS. Please, let's put our hands together.
Thank you, Onesimus. I hope you can hear me, and I hope the mic is on. The administration of Parliament, the administration of National Debate Council, the head teachers of the schools represented here, and the directors, our host school, Nalia Secondary School, our debaters, right from when we started on Sunday up to today, the teams that have made it to the finals, ladies and gentlemen, I'm humbled to be standing on the floors of Parliament to recognize and appreciate your effort as a debater. My name is Muzora Atairo Juliet, and I'm currently the head teacher of Bonjera Girls Secondary School, and I'm one of the founders of NDC 2008-2009, and I've been working in NDC as vice chairperson next to Mr. Kakaire Gasta and then the other members of the board. I would like first of all to thank God for enabling us enjoy this August house and own it in quotes. Last time we were here, we had the Speaker of Parliament, but today we seem to be the Speaker and all, and I don't take this for granted. It's a very big milestone that we have achieved, and I would like each one of us to thank God for that and thank Parliament for giving us the opportunity and demystifying Parliament for us as debaters. So join me, thank Parliament. Join me, thank God. I would like to thank each one of you for having the passion for debate. When we started, the first team of debaters that we had, 2009, was of the likes of Onesimus, the likes of Jordan, he's not here. Nathan was with us, and so many other people who have made it, even in the academics. I saw Samantha. She was at Gaza High School. She's been our judge, and she was a very good debater. I've seen Mate. I've seen all of you progressing. And as NDC, I'm not speaking on behalf of my chairman, but as a parent and as a teacher, and as someone who likes debate so passionately, I really thank God to see that debate is giving fruit, not only in debate, but more so in analysis, rational analysis of issues. This Karl Popper, when we are being trained in it in 2829, there are values, certain tangible values that it gives, one of which is teamwork. You saw how these teams were working and coordinating. The listening skill, the analysis skill of critical analysis, critical judgment, and objectivity and rationality. I would like to thank all those that I've mentioned. Most of them are in the law school, most of them are winding up their courses in law. And how I wish that each one of you could take on your career with passion, whichever career, even if it's medicine, even if it's engineering. But when you have this silent but salient skill of debate, you can analyze issues that come in your career. And I know you'll be good people, and I know NDC will have done a big job for Uganda. Onesma said our first catchphrase was, debaters are leaders for today and tomorrow. And they said we are leaders, the debaters are leaders for tomorrow. But I remember that debate, the debaters were challenging us and saying we are leaders for today. We've started today. So when you're a debater, we are assured of a better Uganda where you will sit to agree on way forward. I think you saw it between Mengo team and Bara High School. You know, you challenge basing on reason, on facts. We don't just come up and quarrel and without any facts. So how I wish we could make our Uganda better. We listen even to sides that we don't agree with at first, but when we listen keenly, we can either challenge them objectively or we can cross over, having been challenged by them objectively. I would like to thank the schools. I know this is holiday time. I would like to thank your parents and guardians for enabling you come, the schools for supporting you financially, morally, and all. I would like to thank your coaches, the patrons of debate in your schools, most of whom are here. There's a lot of sacrifice that the schools are doing, that the parents are doing, that you are doing as an individual debater because you have a passion for debate. And I know that you will not leave this place the same. Parliament has been demystified for you, and I know that you will work very enormously to be a member that will sit either on this side or that side, and you debate for our country, so that we have clean and proper debates. I'm not challenging the debates that we have now, but there is a lot of need for us to listen to both sides so that we can take way forward. I'm humbled by your participation. I'm humbled by your discipline. When I was listening to these teams and I was looking at each one of you, I saw that whereas you weren't on the floor, you were keenly listening to the argument. How I wish all our schools could listen. For us as head teachers, we normally have challenges. Before students analyze things, most times they just follow blindly. How I wish that debates in schools could bring changes, positive changes, that we sit and dialogue and agree on way forward. And I know debate and that bet clubs in our schools, and that betters with your coaches, because most of our coaches are teachers, are going to bring change in our schools, especially these schools that have been represented here. We shall emphasize that we listen to either side and then we agree on way forward. May God bless you. And as you leave, each one of you is a winner. In every race, there is always a winner, and we don't say a loser. For us in debate, we don't have losers. Because each one of us is a winner. The fact that you get platform to express your opinion, to listen to the dissent, to the opposition, and then you give them direction, it shows you're a winner. It shows you're a winner. So each one of you is a winner, and as you go back to your schools, tell them we are winners. So that next time when you come, we are all defending our titles. Come next year at this championship. May God bless you.
Okay, for purposes of order, I think I'll keep here so that I don't keep moving back and forth. Madam Juliet Kazora, thank you so much for being a mother to us in debate. I think it was 2009, our first encounter, and all those years I'm proud that you've seen some of us evolve over the years. As debaters, we are proud of that. Okay, so at this moment, I'd love to bring to the attention of the House that we're in the presence of our chief guest. So let us all put our hands together and welcome Honorable Herbert Edmund Aliko, Member of Parliament for Soweto Municipality, who is stepping in for the Minister of Education and Sports, who was to represent the Honorable Speaker of Parliament. Honorable, we are so glad to be with you. We enjoyed your presence in our first session, and we are so glad that you've been patient enough to keep with us up to this time. As you can all notice, our chief adjudicator is in the house, so meaning the business is as good as done. But before we can carry that excitement forward, we shall proceed with our order of the program. And at this time, I will invite a representative from Nalia SS Namugongo, our host school. They have been wonderful hosts since Sunday up to now. A round of applause to the host school. Yes, we have enjoyed our stay. Please take over and let's hear from you. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you very much. My name is Canon Godfrey Njagala, a retired head teacher, but not very tired. Having been in the profession now 50 years. I was a headmaster at Makerere High School for quite a long time. Those of you who know Wandegea, that's where I operated for 16 years before I was a deputy principal in Namutamba PTC, a college which trained me to be a teacher right from being a primary teacher up to where I am now. But that's not very material. I'm standing here to represent Nalia schools. There are 3 schools we are operating in Nalia. You have been in Namugongo campus. There is Boyogere campus, and then we have Rugazi mixed campus, which is more wider, like the name in Uganda. It's so spacious. And I want to invite you next time, should this cognitive exercise occur, you are welcome. And I want to bring greetings from the Board of Directors, the Board of Governors, and the administration. Madam Head Teacher is with us here. I didn't get a chance to see you exercising your cognitive ability when you were on the campus, because I was busy, but I was around and could hear the voices from the loudspeaker when you were up there in our main hall. I could catch a few words, but I want to thank you. I would like also to take this opportunity to apologize for anything that must have gone wrong during your stay. Maybe water, maybe what. I don't think we have bed bugs. I don't think we experienced them. So I know they are very rampant these days in homes, but we don't have them in an area. So I don't want to apologize for that one, because I know they were not there. It's nice to have visitors, and the Bible puts it very clear. Incidentally, I am a UBC staff, and I've been on UBC for more than 20 years. Right from here, I'm going to present a program on education, and I don't think I'll spare time. I spare no time to talk about this experience. I've loved the way you really use your emotional intelligence when you are debating. I haven't seen people wanting to fight one another, like sometimes back in I think in the 9th house here, where I saw some members of parliament tearing papers and spreading them. Anyhow, you have been so wonderful in your presentation. First of all, you have exercised your emotional intelligence, being able to spare those irrational behaviors. I've liked the way you think very quickly and answer the questions as if you are already in the media. And I would love to commend you to go for media and become a journalist, because the way you've been asking questions and answer quickly, it has really impressed me. Especially, I don't want to. You know, these days there is this girl child. You've been doing so well, boys. You see, the experience now is girl child, so that the boys are now what? Left behind. And they are very, very shy. But you haven't been shy. You've been up there. Thank you very much. And therefore, I want to commend this exercise. But why don't you go right from primary? And start it from there. Organizer. These primary students have also the ability to do it as well as you are doing, so that it starts right from there down, and then you keep it up this way. I don't want to become a speaker, but I want to welcome you once again. This time, we'd like you to take you to another campus, if you don't mind. Preferably, because it's very spacious. I think by the time we come, we shall have finished our swimming pool, so that you can even swim in your leisure time. I want to thank you very much for the organizers, and please come again. May God bless you. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year.
MC, I want to recognize the presence of Honorable Julius Maganda, who has just joined us, the State Minister for East African Community Affairs. You're welcome, Honorable. Proceed.
Thank you, Nathan. Though you preempted my my welcome remarks for the Honorable, but nonetheless, we are glad to be with you. Okay, we are in a debate mood, but someone has put us in a Christmas mood as well. I think it's not a bad thing. I think as we are departing, we need to do some Christmas content or something of the sort. Anyway, we are going to proceed with the program. And allow me at at this time to invite the Executive Director of National Debate Council, Mr. Kakaile Gustavus. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Kakaile Gustavus, please.
Thank you very much, Onesimus. Our chief guest tonight, Honorable Minister and members of Parliament present, parliamentary staff, especially those that we have been working with very closely in organizing this. And please allow me in a special way recognize Ms. Helen Kawesa. Give Ms. Helen Kawesa a very big hand clap. Can tell you that without her effort, without her passion for you young people, we wouldn't be here. And so give her another hand clap. Our dear head teachers that have been able to make it here. I can see the head teacher of Kirakoli Butiki. I can see the head teacher of St. Paul's Rushoka. I can also see the head teacher of Nalia SS Namugongo, but also with her is the representative of the director. We are greatly honored by your presence. I also want to recognize other very special invited guests, especially the executive director of the organization we are partnering with this year, and that is Mr. Ronald Rankanji from Advanced Africa. Let's invite him to welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this activity is a school-centered activity, and therefore, without efforts of schools, we wouldn't have 38 schools here. I therefore want to recognize the efforts, the time, the energy of the 38 coaches that were able to steer the teams to this level. And I want to ask all the coaches, wherever you are, to stand up, and the debaters recognize you with a hand clap. That's great. Mr. Chief Guest, in preparation for this championship, our diction is special. The teachers change from just being teachers to actually being debate coaches. So when I introduce debate coaches, I am actually introducing the teachers in charge of debate in the schools. I also want to recognize the efforts of another very special team that without them, this tournament certainly wouldn't have gotten the level it has gotten to. And those are the judges. Let them also stand up. Mr. Chief Guest, sir, the tournament kicked off on Sunday. It is not a one-day event. We've been having debates. The chief adjudicator will tell us how many rounds, so you know how much effort the adjudicators put in to have the two schools break to this point. Of course, everyone knows that with teachers, with judges, without debaters, there would be no debates. So I want to recognize the debaters as well. Please clap for yourselves. Mr. Chief Guest, NDC National Debate Council has now existed for 6 years, and we are proud of the journey we have walked. This organization was championed by teachers, and there were only 21 of them, and some of them are here. And because there are not very many, I want to introduce them. Mrs. Juliet Muzora here was a pioneer member when she was a teacher
at Beranyanji Girls way back in 2009. She whispered to me, okay. She's now head teacher of Bonjera Girls. I also have Mr. Ongaro Giles, who was a teacher at Nyakasura School. Then, Mr. Ongaro is a pioneer founder of National Debate Council in 2009 and is now a teacher at Pope John Paul II in Gulu. There is Mama, I call her Mama NDC, Miss Florence Atim, right there. When the NDC started, Miss Florence Atim was a teacher at PMM Girls in Jinja. She's now a teacher at Kirako Jibutiki, and she championed her team to win the championship last year. That is how much effort she puts in. There is another papa that has been away for a while and is now back, and that is Mr. Hama himself of Mbarara High School. Where is he? Up. That man led our first delegation to the international tournament in the Netherlands in 2010 and led them well. And I am very, very happy to see him back. Welcome, Ham. So we started with 21 schools and we have grown over the years, Mr. Chief Guest. We have been able to actually reach over 200 schools. Our database, as I speak, has about 230 schools that we have been able to reach with the gospel of debate. And we are talking about a national program and not a Kampala program. We have gone as far as you'll hear the schools introduced here. We have gone as far as West Nile. We have schools coming from Arua, from Koboko. We have schools coming all the way from Ibanda, from Ushenyi, from the Far East. So it is a typical national schools debate championship, Mr. Chief Guest. This championship has 38 schools, and every year the debates resolve around a theme. This year we partnered with Advance Africa to talk about issues of rehabilitation, as you may have heard through the debates. And the young people have done immense research and discovered a lot of information about rehabilitation, which we think will make a big change, not just for them, but for everybody. Debate, as you all know, and if you don't know, please know. Debate is one of the best learning tools anyone can ever use. It is the only activity that helps people build special life skills, like research, like assertiveness, like confidence, like articulation. And these are key life skills everybody wants. Whether it's a business, whether it's a religion, whether it's politics, whether it's business, so whether it is a profession like medicine, whether it is teaching, whether it's engineering, you need these skills. We are tired of seeing young people graduate with first-class degrees but cannot express themselves in interview rooms. We are tired. The young people you see here have attained those skills, and they are great testimonies. If I had time, I would share. Here we have leaders, even at regional level. We have East African Community Youth Ambassadors here that have been debaters. You want to stand up so they see you? People like Samantha, people like, who else? Uma. Those are ambassadors, youth ambassadors to the East African community. Please clap for them. Debate is again another activity, and I call it a mental sport. It is that only sport that levels the ground for everyone, whether you're disabled or able. We have seen outstanding speakers on this debate floor that are visually impaired. We have had now 2 best speakers in the championship, and they are all visually impaired. The 2009 best speaker, Mzamil, is visually impaired, but he was able to sail through and graduate with a good degree, and now has a good job with Advance Africa because of debate. Liombo Abbas, who you all listen to here in the morning, great speaker, Great orator. You can't imagine how much he can articulate without referring to any notes, and yet very coherently. Where would Uyombo get an opportunity to express himself if there was no debate? So this is why we are pushing this passionately and opening the platform and opening the ground and opportunity for all young people, as many young people as they can be, to participate in debate. Mr. Chief Guest, I want to take this opportunity to share with you briefly how all this happens. We have 38 schools. They have been with us since Sunday. Today is Wednesday. They go back to their homes tomorrow. We have been accommodating them, feeding them, and looking after them over this time. But how does it happen? Our greatest partners in this championship are the schools, and it's to no extent that we have head teachers here and one speaking on behalf of the rest. And I want us to recognize the head teachers for sponsoring debate in schools. Our other greatest partners in this cause are those that work with us closely, those that put aside some funds to make sure debate happens. And one of them, our greatest partners, is the Parliament of Uganda. The Parliament of Uganda has been hosting the finals since 2010 and has not stopped. And every time we come here, it's first-class business, my friend. First-class business, and we love it. We have also had the opportunity to expose these young people to international debate competitions. It is a very expensive mission, but yet very necessary. We want this to continue. I am glad the head teacher of Butiki mentioned about international competitions. This year actually, Kira College Butiki mobilized and supported the team, and we were sharing with him how we can engage different head teachers to put together a team that we can send to international competitions and represent our country greatly. And this is something we want to do. This is something we want to see happen. I want to implore, as I conclude, I know the Minister of Education is not here, but the message is being heard and will be delivered. Debate is a co-curricular activity, just like athletics, just like soccer, just like netball, just like MDD. And like I said, there are so many young people, including myself when I was in school. I had physical issues that would not support me to do physical sport, but I was engaged in this mental sport. And there are so many young people out there that cannot do a co-curricular activity that is physical, but yet can engage in this. We want to implore our government, and the Ministry of Education in particular, to consider debate as that special co-curricular activity and actually budget for it. That is what we want to see. Greatly honored to invite my good friend, Mr. Ronald Rankanji. Mr. Ronald Rankanji played a great role. He was actually the pivot of starting NDC. He was then working with the Open Society Initiative for Eastern Africa that supported the establishment of this organization. I went to university with Ronald, and later we went different ways because we did different programs. And I remember him coming to King's College Budo, where I was teaching then, and saying, "Hey, you man, I've been looking for you all this time." And we got into debate, and there we were. NDC started. So his Papa debate, his Papa NDC, I could say. Without his efforts, I don't think this formal debate program would have started. And what an opportunity to welcome this great man who is now championing rehabilitation of ex-inmates around the country, especially young people. Invite with me Mr. Ronald Rankanji, the Executive Director of Advanced Africa. Mr. Ronald.
Thank you very much, Gusta, for that very warm introduction. Honorable members of Parliament are present. The Parliament staff that are present today, the head teachers of the various schools are present. The teachers, the debate coaches and judges, and the students, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by saying that I think today is a remarkable day again for the 7th time as we come together to celebrate debate. But I want to begin on a special note by acknowledging the inspiration and the leadership that we're getting from the Uganda Parliament. I mean, having all of us here, including me, to speak in the chambers of Parliament, I mean, it's something special. There are many millions of Ugandans who would wish to come and sit in the same chair you're seated in. So I think it's very special that you invite us to debate in the same chambers. And I can tell you, honorable members of Parliament, if you can take pictures of everyone who is here, and you follow these young people 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, these young people will be in leadership positions. I can guarantee that. So what the Parliament of Uganda is doing for us, what you're showing to this country is you're exhibiting true leadership, demonstrating that this Parliament is the Parliament of the people, is the Parliament that is not segregative, is a Parliament that is inclusive, is a Parliament that gives opportunities to young people, but most importantly, that it's a Parliament that values young leadership. I'm so very passionate about leadership, so seeing the debates and the young people debating with members of Parliament, I think for me this is how we can nurture leadership. So I really want to thank you, members of Parliament and the whole Parliament leadership, for giving us the opportunity to come. I think this is the 4th or 5th time to debate in the chambers of Parliament. In the morning, we had a very wonderful debate between members of Parliament and the students. I mean, it was fascinating how the students could take on the members of Parliament. In my view, the students won the debate, for sure. I mean, we can replay the videos if they're there, and we can get the judges. Although, through voting, it appeared that the government side won, but I think the students really won this debate. They had their facts, they had their confidence, they had the style, they had the proposals, they had the details. So for me, it's very inspiring. Also the opportunity of a young man from Lira, from Gulu, from Bushenyi, from Kampala, debating with Honorable Member of Parliament from Soroti Municipality. That's an inspiration. In fact, you guys, I want to give you an idea. If you want to contest in 2021, just take your picture here in Parliament and go and hang it in your constituency. Yeah, just tell your constituents that, you look, I've been in Parliament, I've already tested the chambers, so I'll be the best person to represent you. So thank you very much, the Parliament of Uganda, for giving us this special opportunity. I can tell you, you have no idea what this means to us as National Debate Council and what this means to the whole country. So thank you very much, and we hope that you can keep up the spirit. I want to talk about debate and its sustainability. When this debate started in 2009, by then we were relying on donors. In fact, we had donors who put in money. They gave grants so that debate can start. Right now, as we speak, no donor is putting in money. The schools are able to pay to transport the students, to transport the teachers, to facilitate debates, and to enable us to be here. For me, that's what we call sustainability. It actually means that schools own the debate. Schools own the program. Not just schools. The fact that Parliament has also partnered with the National Debate Council and Parliament is able to host us here. This Parliament is here to stay forever and ever. So what this does, it gives debate sustainability and it gives debate the future. So I want to thank the Parliament and I want to thank the schools and the teachers and the head teachers for giving this debate a life and for giving it a future. Another point of sustainability is I see the former students, the alumni, coming in to run the debates. You know, Nathan who is in the speaker's chair, you can also take a picture and show it to your constituency. Nathan, in 2007, actually debate started in 2007. Nathan, together with other 2 young ladies, represented Uganda in South Africa at African Schools Debate Championship. Nathan, together with the 2 ladies, Irene and Isabella, became the champions of the whole continent. That was in 2007. By then, Nathan was like you. He was a young boy like you. So Nathan still has the passion for debate. So for me, this again gives us sustainability. So I want to encourage you, students, when you finish high school, when you go to university, don't forget about debate. Would like to see you tomorrow sitting in the same chair that Nathan is sitting in, chairing these debates. So thank you for supporting Debate the Students, and we hope that you can continue being part of this noble cause. We are challenging National Debate Council to establish a board. And we are challenging National Debate Council that this board should be an inclusive board. Of course, dominated by the head teachers, but also I would like to encourage the National Debate Council to think about having some parliament, the management of parliament on the board, because it looks to me that this parliament will remain a very strong partner to National Debate Council. So it would be good to see how you can strengthen the collaboration and ensure that, again, we give National Debate Council sustainability. Let me lastly talk about the theme for this debate. As an organization, Advance Africa, we're a non-for-profit organization. And what we do, we give hope to the inmates, to the prison inmates. We know very well that Uganda Prison Service right now, the numbers are about 47,000. Over 47,000 people are in prison, of which over 80% are young people below the age of 35. What does this mean? It means that as a country, we have a very big challenge to work on. It means that there is increased crime in our society, largely because we are struggling with issues of youth unemployment. So which means these over 47,000 people inside the prison need rehabilitation. Uganda Prison Service is doing an amazing job in giving opportunities for rehabilitation, opportunities for skills development. As an organization, we give these inmates entrepreneurship skills. We rehabilitate them, we reform them, and we reintegrate them back into society so that they can become active members of society, so that they can start up some small businesses, create employment for themselves, but also create employment for other young people. We have one outstanding ex-inmate who was in prison for 16 years from Noya, and when he left prison, we found him in prison, we trained him. When he left prison, we gave him a startup kit. He went back to Noya and started up a business. And right now, he's actually employing about 16 people in his village. That's amazing. So I would like to see more and more inmates, when they leave prison, they become change agents. So my message to the members of parliament, to our leaders present, is that let us bring the prisons or corrections debate to the national agenda again. Let us create opportunities for these inmates to be rehabilitated and to be reintegrated. Let us have these inmates become change agents, because believe me, today it's them, maybe tomorrow it's me and you. All of us are potential prison inmates. We are potential. It's just that our time maybe is not yet. So I think let's try to create an environment that is good for inmates. But then also I want to mention something else, another issue, that in our prison system right now, over 50% are on remand. Being on remand means that your case has not been decided on. So you're still a suspect. You're not yet convicted. So we think that also the government needs to do a lot more effort to ensure that the cases of those people on remand are decided on very fast, so that they can know their fate and they can know their future. So lastly, I want to once again thank the students for your active participation. I want to thank you for your dedication to debate, and I want to again ask the members of parliament that in this country we anticipate that crime is going to continue because of the massive youth unemployment. So for us to make sure that we have safer and free societies, we need to ensure that we create opportunities for young people. Advanced Africa, we believe that we should live in a society that is safe, that is free, a society where young people can exploit their full potential. I want to congratulate the winning team for today, and also to congratulate National Debate Council for this wonderful 7th tournament. And I want to again pledge support in the coming years. I'm going to continue supporting debate. I can't stop. we cannot stop supporting debate because it's part of us. It's what has shaped us. Some of us in leadership positions, we know that it's debate that has brought us where we are. And we cannot let debate down. If we let debate down, we shall be letting the leadership of this country down. So I want to again thank you and call upon you not to forget about debate. I want to thank my team from Advance Africa for being actively involved. We have that gentleman taking a picture, Michael Ojok. He's shooting the picture, Member of Parliament. He's our communications person. I thank him so much, together with Ali Muzamil. Ali Muzamil is also our colleague, our staff based in Gulu, who is also a former debater. Thank you all, and may God bless you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Ronald Rankanji. Amidst us, we have a very important guest. Let's all put our hands together and welcome Honorable Felix Kolaije, representative for the UPDF, who's going to address the House. Karibu Afande.
Thank you very much. The chief guest this afternoon, representing the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Maganda, Minister for East African Community Affairs, the Public Relations Department of Parliament, members of Parliament present. I've seen a number of colleagues up here, head teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen. I had been asked to stand there, but when I was growing up, I was told you don't address people who are in your back. You want to look at them so that your eyes can communicate. That's why I chose here. Secondly, as a soldier, it's bad discipline to leave people in your back. You don't know what they are planning to do. I want to salute the Parliament of Uganda for availing students this opportunity. At your age, I was, I believe, a very good debater, but I never saw the walls of these chambers, because at our time, I think governance was different. I have heard people saying Uganda is under dictatorship, but this is the only country where you call the president a dictator and you go home and sleep. I have not seen it anywhere else. And this dictatorship, that secondary school students can come in Parliament and they debate and they develop their talent. So I salute Parliament, but I also want to thank God for giving Uganda such an opportunity. I saw my neighbor has a book on how to develop debating. Wow, we have advanced. At our time, you depended on your raw talent. You depended on your raw talent to debate. And that's why I think we are very, very good debaters, because we shook not only schools, but we shook districts and the country, even despite the harsh political conditions of the time. That students can sit with members of Parliament and debate, Uganda has grown. Uganda has grown. So my young friends, I salute you and congratulate you upon that not mean achievement. I thank the organizers of this debate. That's a vision, and surely when society has such people who are visionary, the sky is the stepping stone. Now, my young friends, debate is not about eloquence alone. It's not about expressing how much English you can speak. I see these days a number of young people struggling to imitate the British and Americans in their speaking. That's how they think they're being very English or very learned. That's fine. If you want to imitate others, that's okay. Me, I prefer being natural. But the ideas you have, what are you speaking? It's not just about standing before your mic. You know, it's so, you rather keep quiet so that people can remain guessing how intelligent you are than speaking and they know how foolish you are. So, when you prepare for a debate, what are the ideas you are coming to speak? What knowledge are you passing over? There are times when somebody comes and says, you know, Kulaije can speak. Then you ask him, what did he say? No, the man is a very good speaker. I wish you were there. What did he say? So even you who came to participate, to attend, what have you taken away? Not only the style, not only the language, but even the ideas. What does that mean, therefore? That as somebody who has gone to school, research should be part and part of your practice, part and parcel. You must do research before you speak. Mao Zedong, the revolutionary leader of China, said, no information, no right to talk. It's in this country that I've seen people go on microphones, on radio and TV, and they speak utter rubbish. But they go home very confidently. Please, my young friends, learn from our mistakes. Don't get on the microphone unless you know what you're talking about. So focus on developing your talent. You may be voted among the best debaters today, so don't think you have arrived. No, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. And indeed, may I think 10, 15 years from today, many of you will be in this house. And therefore, it means you'll be better debaters than some of us who have had to learn on the job, if at all we are learning anyway. So focus on identifying the gifts God gave you and develop them. Then discipline. Self-discipline is the key to success. Self-discipline means what? It means that whether somebody is watching you or not, you will do the right thing. In the military, we call it conscious discipline. That whether there is somebody or not, I will make sure my shoe is shining, my trouser is pressed, my shirt the same, I shave my beard, I shave my hair. Whether somebody is going to ask me, as a canon, no one will ask me. But I must be an example to those I lead. So as you grow, be an example to your colleagues, to your fellow students, to your siblings, and to other people. When somebody sees you, you are a good ambassador of the school you are coming from. Self-improvement is a responsibility you cannot delegate. Even me in the office, I delegate many things. But self-improvement is personal. So at every time, whether you are as old as Canon Njagala here, or myself, or as young as you are, every day improve on yourself. I'm referring to him because I know more. And I'm sure you don't mind me referring to him about his age. He's older than me anyway. I know some of you fear talking about your age. Me, I love my age because it means God has been gracious to me. So, self-improvement is a daily routine. Each time you retire to your bed, ask yourself, what have I learned today? What did I fail to do well? How else could I have done it to make it better? In short, learning is a continuous process until your grave. I used to tell my children, Daddy, school books are very stressful. Now, one of them who has been working will tell me, Daddy, work is stressful. I said, but you say books were more stressful. What's the problem now? What am I saying? Stress or no stress is attitude. It is attitude. If you think studying is hard, try out of school and you tell me. So a positive attitude will see you hit where you want to go. Be focused, choose what you want to be, and go for it. If you have no choice of what you have decided to do or to be, you are simply a zombie. You are walking on the surface of the earth like wind. It goes east, it takes you. It goes west, the same. So if you want to be a zombie, congratulations. Lastly, patriotism. Love for your country. I have heard people crying to be Americans, British, and when I hear those, I feel very sorry for our country. Because if you didn't know, I can tell you, this is the Garden of Eden. You know, go and read the Bible. It had a river with 3 branches. Check the Nile. It's here. The land was flowing with everything, all green. You all know Israel is a desert, isn't it? So this is the Garden of Eden. I have been lucky to travel all the continents. No country is as beautiful as this one. That means, therefore, that you and I must endeavor to preserve our environment. Throwing about plastics should be unheard of among schools, among us ourselves. Misuse of our land through charcoal burning and etc., we must fight it. Because if the temperatures have become as hot as they are now, 20 years from today, they will be hotter. So, the choice is yours. Some of us are in the afternoons of our lives. You are in the morning. I want to salute the organizers. I want to salute those who participated and congratulate the winners. Can I say, may God bless you, may God bless Uganda.
Afande, we request that you give us a few minutes and you take the honor of awarding our best debaters of this tournament. So in the interest of time, we are going to award the best 10 debaters, and they will be awarded by our guest, Honorable Felix Kulaije. Okay, so in this year's NSDC 2016, in our 10th position, we have Adong Budget from Naria SS, Namugongo. Please put hands together. I request the debaters to be expeditious and fast. In the 9th position, we have Moses Semusa from St. Henry's College, Chitovu. In our 8th position, we have Himbisa Jesse from Bara High School. In our 7th position, we have Naiga Shudra Kasozi from Mengo Senior School. In our 6th position, okay. Okay. Rubajo Maria. She's there, please. Okay. Nakitende Lilian. Ebisi Emiru. Ebise Emiru. Muteteri Prosi. Naiga Shudra Kasozi. Angelo Sewanonda. Yeah. Luciba Andrew Kelvin. Himbaza Jesse And finally, okay, let's put our hands together for the best debater of this year's tournament, Liyombo Abbas. Liyombo Abbas. Liyombo Abbas. An excellent debater indeed. Liyombo Abbas is visually impaired, but amidst that challenge, he has emerged as the best debater 2016. We congratulate you. Okay, this session shall be taken as concluded. Thank you so much, Honorable Kano Felix Koleje. All right, having awarded our best debaters, let's put our hands together and invite Honorable Maganda Julius, State Minister for East African Affairs. You're welcome, Honorable.
Yeah, thank you very much, our moderator. I want to thank the representative of the Speaker of Parliament, our chairperson, who is in the chair, Right Honorable, the headmasters who have led delegations of schools here this afternoon from various institutions across the country, and also the students who accepted to be part of this memorable occasion in Uganda, the organizers and the institutions that sponsored this program, the administration of Parliament, and all the teachers who are here today. I'm so privileged to be part of this program this afternoon. And as a young leader also, I came here after being invited by a team of the youth ambassadors of the East African Community Affairs, at least to be part and witness the debate that has been taking place here in Parliament. So I just want to thank you and appreciate that the leaders that we have here in the students, we anticipate that the government and the schools are nurturing leaders that are going to propel this government and the country to a brighter future in the coming years. My name once again is Maganda Julius Wandera. I'm also a member of Parliament for Samia Bugwe County from Busia District. And I believe I must be having some schools from Eastern Uganda who are here. And I have also my teachers. I have one of my teachers whom I have seen here. You may look at him with the age. And if you compare his outlook and mine, you may think he's too young to have a person in me as his student, but he taught me. And here I am, and I believe he must be happy wherever he is to see that one of his students is now at a top level of leadership in this country. So this is exactly that we anticipate you people to be in the future. That as you are being prepared today, you are being prepared to take up leadership. East African community has many programs that is planning for the youth. It is built on 4 pillars. It's built on the customs union that is supposed to harmonize the taxation system across the region. It's also built on the common market that is supposed to create avenues on how business can be done across the region. It's also built on harmonizing the monetary system, where in the near future we are going to have one currency across the region. And then it's going to be ushered into the last pillar that we call the political federation, that I believe so many of you must be looking at, seeing that East African community has one government. But the people who are supposed to move all these programs to be achieved are the youth. And while we speak about when do we get there, we speak about you people being patriotic and getting the East African integration a reality. Now, we have programs that are already also supporting students. We have now harmonized the students' visa under the East African community. That while a student from Uganda moves to Uganda, read in Tanzania or read in Rwanda, read in Tanzania, you do not need to get the student visas that are applicable at yearly basis. You get one single student visa. And this is an achievement that I believe it is facilitating the educational system across the region. Uganda is a host to the East African Inter-University Council, which is housed in Tinda, Kyambogo. But this is a program that is going to harmonize all programs of study. If we are reading medicine, we are going to have the same syllabi across the region. That a student from Uganda can go and proceed with his reading in Rwanda or even get a job without being taken through other programs that makes him be acclimatized to the system in Rwanda. These are all programs that are coming up with the region. But one thing that I just wanted to bring is I wanted to bring a brief on what East Africa is doing to target you as a youth, as a student who is still interested in pursuing programs that come around with what we do in the ministry. The ministry is considering the youth. We have the youth ambassadors. I've seen them here. Do we have them around? You can just wave to your colleagues. We also have programs across schools that I would love to see schools take up, that the East African community now is requesting most of the institutions, most of the schools, to come up with what called ESC clubs that are going to be prepared with a message that East African community will be built on a people-centeredness. The first East African community that collapsed in 1977 was built from the top level. It is only the presidents who had the mind. And when they were nurturing different ideologies, it collapsed within no time because only one president, Idi Amin, thought different from President Julius Nyerere, and at that time the president of Kenya, Kenyatta, was looking at. But this time we are nurturing it from the people. And it is you, the youth. It is you, the people in the community, who are supposed to appreciate. So that even while we don't have these presidents at that time, it will still stand the times that it can still exist. It will not collapse again. We have a slogan under the East African community that one people, one destiny. I don't know whether you are getting it well. One people, one destiny. We have been separated by boundaries which were brought about by the colonialists. I come from Busia. I'm a Muluya. In Uganda, we call them the Samias. In Kenya, they are the Abaluya. But I want to tell you that the Samias cut across the whole of the region. In Tanzania, we have them at Kagera. But if we harmonize and integrate the East African community, the Samia might become the biggest community around the region. So we are just saying these are just boundaries, but we are one people, one destiny. So the moment we remove these boundaries and the region become as one country, then automatically it will be easier for people to live harmoniously. It's not me to get there, but it is you to get the region there. The region has also introduced Kiswahili under the Kiswahili Council. I have a feeling that the teachers, you're already now getting acclimatized with the Kiswahili teaching. We shall very soon be asking you to begin expressing yourselves in the Kiswahili as a way of getting communication, because very soon you will find you even get a job across Tanzania where it is a means of communication. So we want schools to take up Kiswahili as one of the subjects to see that they can teach the students, and therefore as we integrate, it is the language that East Africa is going to adapt. In fact, it has adapted because it is under the protocols. So I just wanted in my speech to bring out what our ministry is doing and what it has done so that you get to appreciate. But I want to request, right now, East African community has recruited 60 schools across the country which are having the East African clubs. But during the coming 2017 year, we are targeting to recruit 200 schools under the East African community. And I believe you will be seeing me into the same program with you in schools because it is under my docket and the ministry. I'm supposed to move there and speak to the students so that we can appreciate that we can move this country, we can move the region while we have integrated. I just want to appreciate the organizers this afternoon. And I want to tell you one thing, that while you have been here in Parliament today, you have a very big opportunity. For me, by the time I stepped here in Parliament, I was already a member of Parliament. But for you, I've stepped here while you are still a student. I want you to follow your dream, to be a good leader. You may not basically come here as a member of Parliament, but you can use this chance of having sat in the positions where people who determine the appropriations of this country and do policies, they have sat, and you become a good leader from wherever you come from. Use this as an opportunity that your other colleague down in the village has not got even space to step in Kampala, but they would also wish to be here. You go there, we need you to be our ambassadors now, to speak to your colleagues who have not got the chance to be here. But one very interesting thing is today, as students, government has given you the avenue to read, to go to school and read. Those days, we never even had schools. It was between a choice and a chance for somebody to go and read. But for you now, you have the option. You don't choose, it's not a chance. It's now regulated. You have to go to school, it's a law. But during that time, it wasn't there. You could have more than even 100 kilometers to get a secondary school. That's why it was between choice and chance. But at that time, it was a chance for somebody to go to school. But right now, it should now be a choice for you to go to school. So I just want to encourage you, focus your mind on education. This other part of debate will definitely come. You will only be considered a successful person while you have read. You can only also come to Parliament here while you have read. Because if you don't have the minimum requirement, you will not be admitted. Even your people will not nominate you to represent them in these bigger positions. I'm very thankful of the organizers, and I want to pledge that we shall support you. We get a writing from the organizers to my ministry so that we can put you people in our program to also be part of the subsequent programs that will come along with this debate. We can make a budget. As I conclude, I've been touched by the best debater of this evening. A blind person, somebody disabled, but he put aside his element of disability, and I think he has scored today's mark. I'm very grateful of that. And I'm going to offer 1 million to support the best debater. This is just to inspire to inspire other students down there who would fear to come out of the disability, to come and speak out what God can offer them. You may not be able to see, may not be able to talk, but God has given you that other one aspect in your life of speaking. Use that stuff He has left in you to speak. And I'm very grateful for my brother, maybe my son, who has been able to come and speak to us. We have to encourage, we have to support you. Thank you very much. And I believe in the subsequent programs that will come, I will be part of the program. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for those wonderful remarks and for your generosity. And at this time, Honorable Minister, we request that you'll be joining us to award our best performing schools from the quarterfinal level to the semi-finals. And I shall also request the head teacher of Butiki to come and accompany you in awarding these accolades. So when we mention your school, kindly the patron come with your team of 3. So you receive a certificate for the school and a certificate for the patron and the debaters. Thank you. And we are going to read them in their order. Okay, number 8, we have Pope John Paul II College, Gulu. Patron and your team. In number 7, St. Henry's College, Chitovu. Number 6, Trinity College, Nabingo. Patron, Trinity College, Nabingo. Okay, shall proceed. Number 5, Muyenga High School. Okay, in 4th position, Iganga Secondary School. Okay, and the debaters for Iganga Secondary School, Agnes Nabidie. Or the coach, sorry, the coach, Agnes Nabidie. The debaters, Asaro Elizabeth Emitu, Kamusime Ronald, and our best debater, Luyombo Abbas. Okay, for the moment. Okay, and in our third position, and these are the bronze medalists, none other than the whole school, Nadia SS Namugongo. Having their coach as Mr. Opondo Joseph, debaters Asase Rashiba, Lusiba Andrew Kelvin, and finally Odongo Bridget Mangeni. And there are also medals for you. So for the debaters, medals for the debaters. We congratulate you. Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much for accompanying us. I'd love to take this time off to recognize the members of parliament with us here. I'd love to recognize in particular the presence of Honorable Badianga Andrew, member of parliament for Kawale municipality. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Okay. We are going into the sensitive moments. But as we're going into the sensitive moments, I think I'll take this time. I don't know if I have the locust and I to invite the chief guest. I would prefer to invite the Executive Director of National Debate Council to invite our chief guest, whose speech will be followed by the results from the chief adjudicator, Mr. Nathan Onyango. I think that order will suit best today's session.
It's now my humble pleasure and honor, because of the environment that surrounds celebrations, it is not very easy to make a speech after the award of the trophy. So we think it is wise the chief guest makes the remarks now, and then we hand over the chief adjudicator. But before I invite the chief guest, allow me to introduce Honorable Susan Nakauchi, who is a member of parliament in the East African Legislative Assembly. You're welcome, madam. And now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome with me Honorable Ariko Herbert, member of parliament, Sorot Municipality, our chief guest tonight.
The Honorable Minister of State for East African Community Affairs, the Honorable Julius Maganda, Honorable Felix Kulaije, who was our distinguished guest, members of parliament present, both of the East African Legislative Assembly and the Parliament of Uganda, our development partners, sponsors, schools, the staff of parliament, coaches and judges, debaters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Herbert Edmund Ariko, Member of Parliament, Soroti Municipality. This afternoon, standing in for the Speaker of Parliament, who is indisposed because she's out of the country, would like first and foremost on behalf of Parliament of Uganda to congratulate each and every one of our debaters and participating schools for a very noble contest that you've had. Congratulations. I know that the task is enormous, but before I read the speech of the Speaker of Parliament, may I take this opportunity to make a few remarks of my own. First and foremost, I was privileged and honored by the organizers of this debate, together with our Department of Communication and Public Affairs, in having invited me as one of the debaters this morning. I definitely enjoyed my time, especially where I was privileged to be given an opportunity to defend the government position, which I normally don't do in this house. During ordinary business, you will find me sitting on the front bench, but on the left-hand side of the speaker, because I represent the people of Soroti Municipality under the FDC. But today, I was the Minister for Internal Affairs. You know, when the debate was ended, I really found that it is definitely a very tough job defending government position. The Honorable Minister who is here, we literally don't know what the Speaker of the day did to make the motion to be carried, but by and large, we had lost the debate, I think. But as you know, that is how Parliament works, especially when they put a question for oral acclamation. I put the question with those in favor say aye, to the contrary no. Those that are able to raise the voice earlier take the day. So we took the day, not necessarily because it was the best position, but again, that is democracy at work, because Parliament is the epitome of democracy. Our dear students, I am a product of the debating clubs of this country. I was the chairperson of the debating club in Swaria Primary School in Soroti Municipality. I also served in Swaria as the head prefect. I went to St. Peter's College, Tororo. I was the chairperson of the debating club of St. Peter's College, Tororo. The people who are OBs and OGs of the likes of Manjasi, the likes of Nabmali, they know what we used to do to them when they came to debate. I eventually was elected district president of the debating clubs of Tororo at my time there. When I went to Makerere, from my first year, I was a member of the Guild Representative Council, and for much of the afternoons, we spent our time sitting up the gallery. And the people we used to admire then in the 6th Parliament were the likes of the late Brigadier Nombo Mayombo, the likes of Major Okwiri Rwaboni, the likes of Honorable Norbert Mao, and they sat in this house. And somehow we used to tell ourselves that one day, we would like to step on the floor of Parliament. Today, I serve in the 10th Parliament as Member of Parliament, and I congratulate the movement through which you're going through for having mentored me. I am sure amongst you will be better debaters in this house than anyone else could ever be. Yes, indeed, as a Member of Parliament, our partners in the debate, the debating council, have raised an issue of the budget for debating clubs. If and when the ministry, the Honorable Minister is here, comes with a proposal of providing for debate as a budget line under the Ministry of Education, as a Member of Parliament, if I'm around and able to, this is one of the budget lines that I will support on the floor of this Parliament. Having said those remarks, may I now read the speech of the Right Honorable Speaker. I am pleased to be here this afternoon on behalf of the Right Honorable Speaker. The Speaker is particularly pleased to have been part and parcel of the national debate, which she believes we have all enjoyed. It is at this point that it's important that we recognize all the trainers and adjudicators who have been behind the scenes preparing the debaters. A lot of work must have certainly been done as exhibited by the level of interaction that has been had in this parliament. The theme of today's topic, which is creating better communities through rehabilitation, is timely and relevant. From the debate, the speaker could tell that the students had internalized the notion of prisons, which should be viewed as an institution that focuses on rehabilitation and correcting the offenders and not punishment. During this time when we have several youth as the bigger bulk of our population, it's important that we note that they are sensitized on the pertinent issues regarding our rehabilitation and justice system. I wish to commend non-governmental organizations which are working with government through the Uganda Prison Services to rehabilitate our offenders. This positive move definitely gives us a better cadre of Ugandans who have committed crimes and gone through the prison system that have been rehabilitated in the end as those that will come and engage in productive activities. As such, they are in position to contribute positively to our communities and the country at large. The government is therefore willing to partner with such bodies as Advance Africa to pave way in making impact by way of improving the prison services of Uganda. There has been a constant demand by the prison services to support them with more funding for rehabilitation activities. The debate has brought the need to the forefront, and this has to be placed on the agenda of Parliament. Parliament will therefore work with the government to see that such issues are instituted and more support provided to build our prison services to a better institution. I commend the National Debate Council for initiating the activity of school debate championships. I am informed the idea was started by a desire to create a generation of active citizens, a new breed of young and confident, well-informed and articulate leaders. This has been so for the last 6 years. Today, through this initiative, we have in Uganda a group of dynamic youth using debate as a tool to empower young people, especially in secondary schools. As we close this 6th debate, National Debate Council has now reached out directly to over 100,000 secondary school students in over 100 schools, and this is a very commendable achievement. It is important to note that Uganda has the youngest population, comprising about 77% as people below the age of 30, while over 7 million of them are youth aged between 15 to 24. The largest part of this group is in secondary school, and therefore they need mentoring, guidance, and other key skills to support them explore their full potential. The National Debate Council also uses debate as a tool for leadership development, critical thinking, and research. Yes, indeed, this is true, because world over, debate has been proved to be the best learning tool that we could possibly have. Debating helps one not only to discover their new knowledge, ideas, and verify assumptions that your opponents are making, but it also helps consolidate diverse views as a key component for leadership development in any given society. In any community, to be in politics, the workplace, or even in one's neighborhood, the ability to articulate issues clearly and coherently is very critical. I applaud the National Debate Council for moving ahead with this venture. I thank the organizations which have over the years partnered with the National Debate Council and given support in form of funding or research materials. These include but not limited to OSIEA, Plan International, Uganda Olympic Committee, Advance Africa, the Speakers Forum, Sasakawa Africa Association, African Center for Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture Victims, among others. I thank the members of parliament who early this morning participated in the debate with the students. I understand this was an interesting engagement, and I hope you have realized that the MPs are just people like yourselves. I think you have been inspired to become an MP and indeed engage in real debate at national level in this August House in the years to come. It is my hope that in the 11th Parliament, some of you might find yourselves in this House, not probably as youth members of Parliament, but maybe constituency representatives. I am happy to hear that we are beginning to see the impact of debate program. I am informed that almost all the judges of this championship are former debaters, which is indeed commendable. More than half of these debaters are actually law students. Additionally, I understand that the 2009 best debater, Muzamiri Ali, who is visually impaired and is with us here today, has now completed university and is employed by Advance Africa in Gulu. If Muzamiri Ali is here, please stand up for recognition. There he is. In that way, debate is one of the few co-curricular activities that gives opportunities to even the disabled students to compete and actually outcompete those that are regarded as able. I am also happy to learn that even the best debater in 2015 and as well the best debater today, Abbas Loyombo, is a visually impaired student of Iganga Senior Secondary School. We congratulate him. Therefore, this means that disability does not necessarily mean inability. I have learned through the debate and exposure, I have learned that through the debate and exposure in Romania, one former debater, Christopher Muchwa, who is also here today, has developed a smartphone application for the National Debate Championship. Is Christopher here? Yeah, there he is, very young and very intelligent. He has developed a smartphone application that we will use to enhance these debate processes. I know that many of you have other many initiatives that you have started in your various communities throughout the parts of the country. It is now important that the National Debate Council works on profiling all former debaters so as to establish the impact that debate has made in their lives. As I conclude, I recognize and thank all the 38 schools that have participated in the debate of this year. I also welcome all the 240 participants here today, and I would like to thank Nalia Senior Secondary School for having hosted the participants for over 5 days that have passed. Welcome to the Parliament of Uganda again. As legislature, we have heard about your request for support. We recognize debate as one of the only mental sports for the students who cannot physically engage in physical sports. We will therefore have, as I've stated before, look for ways and means of increasing the budgets in the parent ministry for debating activities as has been requested. Our youngsters are good enough to put Uganda on the world debate map. Indeed, Uganda now ranks 6th in Africa, and this makes us very proud. And congratulations to the team that won the Africa Championships. We also would like to look out for partnerships in order to promote this venture. Ladies and gentlemen, I once again congratulate all of you that have participated in this championship. I hope that the youth, as youth, you have learned a lot from this experience, not only in the debate, but here at Parliament. I also congratulate the winners in advance, and I encourage those who did not win to work even harder and better next time. I wish you all the best, and I take this opportunity to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year 2017. I thank you so very much, and that was the speech of the Speaker, who warmly congratulates you and welcomes you to the Parliament of Uganda, and she says that her leadership in Parliament will continue to support the initiative of promoting debate amongst the young people of Uganda. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
Another round of applause for our chief guest for those wonderful remarks. Yes, the moment of truth has arrived. We're in a very delicate time. So allow me to hand over to the chief adjudicator, Mr. Nathan Onyango, to guide us through the next session.
I'd want to consult with you on how we shall award before I read the winners and announce why. All right. Thanks for the guidance. My role is not one you can envy because it is literally hot. The only upside to it is I take the most comfortable room in the house. But just to remind you of how this journey started, at the beginning of the year, regionals were organized in different regions, and all the schools that are here have come from far. They have been winners in their regions just to get a chance to participate at these nationals. So much as today, I will mention one winner. I think all of you are winners, and you should give yourselves a hand clap. So, straight to the point. I don't want to keep you people very anxious. In the Kalpopa debate format, teams are given burdens on which they are primarily judged as to whether they won or lost a debate. The affirmative team has a burden of proof, which is to bring a policy and prove beyond reasonable doubt that that is the right solution to solve the problem that has been brought to the House, while the negative team has a burden of refutation to simply prove that the policy and the ideas suggested by the affirmative either will not work or can be replaced with a better alternative. In the debate we had, while both teams made some mistakes, for example, the affirmative team in not having in having an insufficient policy, and the negative team in picking a poor strategy that seemed to balance both the ideas proposed in the motion by 6-1 judges split. We were 7 judges, and our decision was split 6-1. The winners of the debate, National Schools Debate Championship 2016, are Mengo SS. Let's give a bigger hand clap to the winners of NSDC 2016, Mengo SS. I'll hand over to the MC to proceed with the award giving ceremony. Thank you very much.
Okay, another round of applause for Mengo SS. Congratulations. And a round of applause for the first runner-up, Amber High School. Congratulations. At this time, I would love to request our chief guest, Honorable Aliko Herbert, is going to award over the accolades. I'd also request our other guests to come and accompany our Honorable Maganda Julius, please, and Honorable Nakawuchi. Let's burden you again to come and award the students. I'll also request the head teacher of St. Paul's High School, Shoka, to also come and facilitate the process. Okay, we are going to award first the first runners up, but before that I'd also like to invite Mr. Rankanji Ronald. You cannot miss on this team. Okay, so all of us, let's put our hands together for the first runners up for this year's tournament by high school. And we shall also request them to be the accompanied of their coach. Thank you. The debaters, please proceed and shake hands with the rest of the guests. Thank you. Thank you. All right, another round of applause for the first runners up. Congratulations, congratulations. All right, before we can award the winning team, we shall first award the best coach of the tournament, and the best coach of the tournament will be the coach of the winning team, the coach of Mengo Senior School. We congratulate you. right, and for the love of debate, I'd request all of us to stand up and give a round of applause for our winning team as they come. Let's all stand. A round of applause for the winning team. 2016 Mengo Senior School. We congratulate you. They have exhibited consistent performance throughout the rounds, and they sure deserve to be crowned champions. We congratulate you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations, congratulations. To our chief guests, we thank you so much for offering your time. We thank you so much for availing your time to be with us this afternoon, this evening. We want to thank all the participating schools. We also want to thank all the participating schools, in special regard the patrons who have facilitated in training the debaters and the debaters themselves. We also want to thank the judges of this tournament. You have done an amazing job. We also want to thank the host school, Nadia SS, for the wonderful work. As we are nearing the completion of today's session, we're only going to have
2 activities remaining. I'll request again the head teacher of, and maybe before that, I want to thank Nathan and the team. Nathan has been the chief adjudicator, and the team that judged the finals. Thank you so much. A round of applause for the final panel. Trust me, being a judge on such a final is not a position you want to envy. All right, I'll request the head teacher of Butiki to come and, yes, again, to come and give a vote of thanks on behalf of the other head teachers who have facilitated their schools to be here. Yeah, to come and give a vote of thanks. Then after his speech, we shall make general communication and announcements, and we shall formally close the session. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Our guest of honor, members of the debate council, fellow head teachers, debaters, the winning school, Mengo, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to give a vote of thanks to the guest of honor and to all of you for the patience, the persistence, perseverance that you have exhibited to see us reach this important ceremony where we had the guest of honor that talked to us representing the Speaker of Parliament. Today is the 14th. I'm passionate about numbers. I'm also aware that this is the 7th session of debate since National Debate Council started organizing it. Number 7 is a number of completion in the Bible. And today, by God's grace, it's the 14th, which I would believe is also a double blessing. There is a saying that travel broadens the mind. We have traveled. You have traveled. And I know that your minds are broadened now. You are never going to be the same. Speakers have been here. They have passed to us a lot of information. But above all, I know that God has used them, for that matter, to bless you. I believe that now that you are here, you are blessed. This is the 7th session, and today being the 14th, you have double blessings. Turn to your neighbor and say, you are blessed. 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 I've been called to give a vote of thanks. I want to thank our chief guest for blessing this occasion. Remain blessed for God and my country. I remain Daniel Douglas Kaima, head teacher at Chira College of Teaching.
Please shake hands with your neighbors and tell them you are blessed. Yes, please, yes. You are blessed, you are blessed. You are blessed, you are blessed. Those are warm Christmas greetings. Okay, some of you have received, now we're in announcements. We are about to close. Some of you have received certificates that are not signed. So if you know your certificate is not yet signed, kindly see Herbert. Please stand up. Yes, he's a logistics man. Kindly see him and give him back that certificate. It will be duly signed. Then secondly, for the school that have not received certificates this evening, it was because of the time, but we are going to award certificates this evening during our dinner. Is that okay? Okay, having said that, I've been guided by the Honorable Minister that we shall close this session by singing first the East African anthem and then the national anthem. Okay? And then I think after that we shall have a prayer. I think it is in order. I'm aware that the Parliament has a standard prayer format. If it would be possible to access it, would be glad to use that. But if you can't access it, then we shall use that, maybe the school's prayer. Okay, I'll request the Honorable Minister to lead us, and the Honorable Member of Parliament for East African, Iyala, the two will lead us in these two anthems. They actually requested to lead us.
Asante sana. We're just going to sing the first stanza and the chorus.
Yeah.
Mungu
tulinde, tumulia Afrika Mashariki, uleshe tusi amani,
tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Now the Uganda anthem. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hands. United, free for liberty, together we'll all praise stand.
Any volunteer for the closing prayer?
As I said, Canon Njagala is my name. So we pray. Humble ourselves. God Father, our loving Father in heaven, thank you very much for this experience. Thank you for this kind of fellowship. Thank you for your love that you have enabled us this far. And we put everything in your charge. The glory is yours. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I pray. Amen.
Okay, so as we are leaving the debaters and the coaches and the judges, there's a souvenir from Parliament.
Okay, the house is adjourned, so members are free to exit at will.
The speaker leaves first, I've been told.
Okay, there will be a good photo on the stairs of Parliament. There will be a good photo on the stairs of Parliament for everyone.
The person who is leading the delegation from Iganga, I'll need them to get details on how they will pick the package of the support we offered to our colleague. I think they will get me in the lobby.
Pay attention to what I'm going to tell you, members. What?
Hello.
Look.
Actually, go the other side. If the knife, okay, go away.
You're done.
Excuse me, members. Excuse me, members. We are advised to use this route behind the MC so that you can get the souvenirs.
Yes, yeah.